This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, happy Sunday. Good to see you all here. All my lovely family members. Hold on, let me change this background. I got some more documents to talk about, then we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe watch a video or something. They are going to be kind of hard to talk about because I'm going to talk about some things that could be triggering. So I was watching shorts on YouTube just now, and I found some funny ones, and I thought I would share them with y'all because I thought this one was so funny, and the other one I really liked. So we're going to do those real quick first, and then we'll get into the documents because they are kind of triggering. Let me say hey to y'all. Hey, me passenger, Juliet, Bad Girl, Serena, Mary, Lisa, Ashley, Cozy, good to see you. Big Pat, Booer Mommy, Jennifer, Hio, Abellis. Let's see. Lisa, again, good to see you. Mary. Pisces, good to see you. Mayla's mom, good to see you. Jennifer Hoff, Norma Guerrera, good to see you. I see Olives in chat. That means Queen Olive's here. Good to see you. Lily Sunshine. Yep, there's Queen Olive. Hello, Malibu Surf. Somebody said they're going to Oregon. It was Lily Sunshine, and I want to go to Oregon. Take me with you. Hey, All Things Serious. Sue Joy, good to see you. And Beanie Boomer, good to see you. Now, you guys might have seen the documents we're going to talk about. They were new to me, and I found them interesting. And I'm going to talk about some things that you might not have really thought were important, but I found them kind of interesting. First, we're going to look at these two shorts real quick to have a laugh. Well, one of them's kind of funny. Hold on just a minute, and then we will get into the document.
How am I out here? So, if you could say one word that makes me mad. Oh my gosh.
Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm going to try to make it big screen so you can see it. All right. Listen closely.
Why am I out here? So, if you could say one word that makes me mad, I'll get you the new Louis Vuitton bag you wanted. What?
Honey,
one word. If you could say one word that makes me mad, I'll get you the new Louis Vuitton bag you wanted. We'll go right now. Does that make sense?
What?
Honey! One word, one, that makes me mad. We'll go get the new bag you wanted. Okay?
What?
What do you mean? What? Are you okay? Can you hear?
Yeah, I'm okay, except for I used the word what, beard boy. So now take me to get my purse. Take me to get my purse. Let's fucking go.
I thought you were saying that.
No, man, you said use one word. I'm smart as hell, ain't I, beard boy? What do you know about that?
I thought you didn't understand the terms.
You thought wrong.
I thought you didn't understand.
And then this one, hold on, let me play the music. I like this girl. She's got like the longest, prettiest hair. And she puts on this outfit. And y'all, let me tell you, you would see me walking in Walmart wearing this. I sure would. I would do, if I had hair like that and I looked like her and I had that dress. Hell, if I had that dress, I might go to Walmart dressed in it right now. Y'all would see me walking around Walmart looking like the candy cane queen that you never seen. Y'all, I would rock it. I sure would. Watch how, look. You sure would see me walking around Walmart wearing that. I sure would. I sure would. All right. Let's get into these documents. Hold on just a minute and I'll pull them up so y'all can see them. Oh, first, let me show you what I was talking about yesterday. It's just two screenshots that I have real quick. And then we'll talk about the document. So this is the one that I saw. I don't know how to make it bigger. Let's see. There you go. Okay, so this is the one I saw, and I thought it might be talking about what Stephan did when he was younger. But what this references is, hey Bogart, good to see you. What this references is like Stephan Stearns having a guardian ad litem named Gerald F. O'Brien. So it's a waiver by ward of final report and accounting, waiver service of petition for discharge, and receipt of ward and consent to discharge, full waiver. Okay. Now, I didn't know what that was. I had not had time to review it. It's obviously a court document, but I still really didn't know what it was. Y'all, I sure would be the candy cane queen. I would love it. Hey, Heather. Good to see you. Hey, Teresa. Okay. So I then, this came from a Reddit post, and so I looked at the Reddit post. Now, I don't watch Reddit much, but the person who posted this, I've talked to them before. They were in my Discord, so I kind of trust what they say. They seem pretty nice to me. I've just talked to them a lot. But I do want to say this is a Reddit post. I have not been able to verify any of this information, so, take it with a grain of salt. But again, I trust the person who wrote it. So it says Stephan Stearns settlement. Thanks to a person for spotting this. It says Deborah Stearns sued two people and Geico Insurance in 1998 on behalf of her son, Stephan Stearns. This is the first actual evidence we've seen that Stephan was allegedly injured in an accident and sought neurological care. It supports Deborah Soto's claims about a TBI. Traumatic brain injury is a non-degenerative, non-cognital insult to the brain from an external mechanical force, possibly leading to permanent or temporary impairment of cognitive, physical, and psychological functions when an associated diminished or altered state of consciousness. The difference between a concussion and TBI is a loss of consciousness, which may be brief. It appears that the case settled out of court before the trial. There was then a probate case in which an attorney guardian, was appointed to manage the money. Whatever money that remained was then released to Stephan Stearns not long after he turned 18 in 2004. It appears the original lawsuit may be related to the alleged accident in which Deborah Stearns and Chris Stearns alleged that Stephan Stearns was run over and suffered a TBI. So that's what I found on that. And that's about all I have. Again, that's from Reddit. I cannot verify that myself, but I trust the person who wrote it. Now we're going to get into this document. I got this document from Plunder. You will find her link pinned at the top of the comment section. And I wanted to say thank you to her for allowing me to use it. I have printed out a couple of pages I wanted to talk specifically to you about. And so we'll read through this and then we'll talk about something else. So we're going to start on page 21. Now, what this is, I don't know if you remember, but they reference finding images of Madeline and all the horrible things Stephan was doing to her while Kissimmee Police Department was executing the search warrant of the house. So at the bottom right here, it says the following items of evidentiary value were observed throughout the residence. In the downstairs bedroom, they pulled these items. So basically, and this is going to be triggering, I'm sorry. This is a list of evidence they pulled. A lot of it's like the tripod. There's going to be, it's basically the items that were seen in pictures of Stephan and Maddie. For the most part, some of it's a couple of other things, but I was going to read to you this long list of items of evidentiary value that, from what I understand, were seen in pictures of Stephan abusing Maddie. So it starts right here at the top with a silver colored Apple brand laptop. Of course, they're going to pull the laptop. And then a black colored WD brand Easy Store model drive with a USB cable attached inside a top drawer of nightstand south of bed. Black colored HP brand laptop. Right here. This is a black and brown WT3130 brand tripod. Let me see if I can pull that up so we can see what it looks like. I know some of you said you had seen pictures, but I had not seen them yet. Oh, why did you do that? Hold on, I got it right here. So let's see. It's a WT3130. WT3130 tripod. Okay, so I suppose it looked like that. So it looks like one that you would use for like, you could use it for a phone, or you could, it looks like these legs right here would extend and you could use it like on the floor as well or something. Because you see these other ones that are like on the floor. Hold on a minute. Sorry. So you see these legs right here that look like they would extend out. So unfortunately, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. Like you could pull it out and stand it up. Hey, Pisces. Hey, Jill. I was seeing what y'all say real quick. So yeah, that's concerning. And that's the one it is. It says specifically on the paperwork, WT3130 brand tripod, and it's WT3130 portable camera tripod. Now, it is for a camera. I mean, it's not for a cell phone. So, I mean, that again makes it, I don't know if it's better or worse. Because if she had it for the phone, I would think maybe she's setting it there to like shoot her little shorts or whatever she did on YouTube. But with it being for a camera, that makes me think, unfortunately, something else. I don't know, Norma, if she ever questioned it or not. Evidently, it was in a bottom drawer from where I read somewhere else. I don't know. Hey, Shauna. Maybe, let us hope. Let us hope he was taking pictures of his Dungeon and Dragons minis. Hey, Manda. Manda said, the one thing he said looked like a phone holder one from the video from True Crime. Okay. Well, it could be. I hope it was. That's what I pull up when I look at like, because it says WT3130, and that was what I pulled up on that. But who, yeah, like Hio said, but who knows? Who knows? I hope you feel better, Mary Love. Okay, so we're going to go back to this document. It jumped my pages. Okay. Let me pull that back up and close this. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Oh, it went to page 27. My goodness. Okay, so we'll go back up to 22. We just saw like where the first little indentation right here is. That's the tripod that we just read. Next is a white colored Royal Living brand king size comforter, purple colored unknown brand pillowcase with constellation design. That's from Maddie's bed. Gray colored unknown fuzzy blanket. Gray colored unknown brand fuzzy robe, size large. Blue colored Members Mark brand towel with green and yellowish dinosaur designs. White colored unknown brand pillowcase with light purple constellation pattern. White colored unknown brand towel with dark and light blue colored stripes. Gray colored Hurley brand crew neck sweatshirt. Black colored Place brand biker shorts, size extra extra large, or TTG 16. light blue colored pink brand panties, size small, on the floor between the tub and the bathroom sink. From the victim's bedroom, it says description location. I'm right here. White colored Turby Trist brand hair towel with multicolored cupcake designs hanging on divider 1. Pink brand black colored panties, size medium. Black colored unknown brand tank top, size medium, on the floor between divider 1 and dresser 18. White colored Utopia towel brand hand towels, top right drawer of dresser facing the dresser. And then there was 17 pairs of female underwear. And like I said, I know this is triggering, but unfortunately, I'm just trying to give us some insight on, unfortunately, the abuse she suffered. Like, this is insane. The list, I mean, it's like 4 pages of like what they pulled. So it continues, purple and white and pink, pale pinkish orange flowers with white and light blue dot designs, Hanes brand, size 12. Light purple with light blue top elastic blend, Hanes brand, size 12. Light purple with yellow top elastic brand, torn and elastic borders, and a figurine of a unicorn and the word Wednesday, Cat and Jack brand, size 10. Light blue with pink top elastic blend, Hanes brand, size 12. I mean, it just continues on, listing the 17 pairs of underwear they pulled. And like, I'm thinking that this is because they talk about having them pull everything that's in the videos. And I'm not going to read through all of it. I mean, it's just a list of underwear. There's a black colored Old Navy brand t-shirt, size extra small. Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt, medium. Sage green colored Old Navy brand long sleeve shirt. Glam Jams brand multicolored polka dot pants. Towels. Clothes. 2 colored pink brand boxers. I mean, it's just really sad. And it says photographs were taken of the residence. 7 finalized sketched were taken of the residence. They talk about a laptop. And again, with the underwear, clothes. I mean, it lists specific descriptions of the clothes and underwear that she was wearing. I just couldn't with like the underwear size 10 Cat and Jack with the unicorn on it that says Wednesday. Like, how could you sick mug? Like, I just don't know, but it's going to get worse. There's a description of some of the files they found, and one of them, I had to stop reading the homicide indictment when I came across this one. I'm not going to read all of it to you because it's just a list of clothes and things, but it's just hard. You know, when I'm reading that and I'm thinking about, I'm recalling when they talk about they were searching the property and they had them pull all that stuff. It's just sad. I think from the list, it states that they pretty much did. If you guys want to access this file, if you subscribe to Plunder and join her Patreon, it's $7, and you know, it does cost us to get these documents, so I didn't mind paying it to get the documents that I have. So if you want all these documents, she's got them in like order and all nice and labeled and all of the things. So if you want to see these documents for yourself and review them yourself, go join her Patreon and you can have them for yourself. So on this one, we're going to start, I've got highlighted right here. I don't know if you can see that. But like, we're starting at that area right there. It states, Detective Smallwood asked Jennifer what medication she used to help her sleep. So this is going to tell us the medication she was on. I know some of you had asked. Yeah, I'll drop it. Hio's supposed to come up. I'm going to, give me a second to read this and then I'll drop the link. Detective Smallwood asked Jennifer what medication she used to help her sleep. Jennifer said it was called Geodon, but the bottle says Zasperdone. Jennifer said she would take it with food, and within 30 minutes to an hour, she's asleep. Jennifer said Madeline would take hydroxyzine for her anxiety to help her sleep. Jennifer was asked if Stephan has attempted to reach out to her since he was arrested, and she became upset and said no, and it would be stupid if he did. Jennifer stated, we asked her about Stephan's sexual kinks, and she said that she remembered last night that he had an anal sexual kink. Jennifer said she always refused when Stephan would want anal sex with her. Jennifer also remembered that Stephan would be easily angered and was very irritable and negative about things. Jennifer and Stephan would only get angry. Jennifer said Stephan would only... Okay, hold on. Jennifer said Stephan would only get angry at Madeline over normal parenting things, or if Madeline didn't want to do what was asked of her. Jennifer stated she had given Stephan the benefit of the doubt about when he told her he dropped her off at school. Jennifer said Stephan is a master liar and a master manipulator, and she has only recently had this conversation with Chris, Stephan's father. Jennifer assumed law enforcement was looking into Stephan because he was the last person to be seen with Madeline, and she wanted to believe he had nothing to do with her going missing. Jennifer said once we showed her the photographs of, and it says we're at where it's blacked out, but we know it was a picture of Madeline with Stephan's member in her mouth. That is when she realized Stephan was guilty. I asked her what she thought Stephan was guilty of, and she replied, quote, he's been grooming and abusing my child. I asked Jennifer if she thought Stephan killed Madeline, and she said, at this point, I do. I asked her why she thought that, and she said we showed her photographs of Madeline slumped over in Stephan's vehicle. So I found that interesting. Initially, she wants to get him a lawyer, but then here she's saying that she thinks he's guilty, and that she thought so pretty much after they showed her the picture. But we know she called a lawyer, so it's kind of hard to believe that. For me, anyway. Hey, Heather. Hey, Rubber. I saw somebody else. Shelby. Hey, Shelby. Teresa said, and Jen sends her child up to bed with a pervert that loves anal. What the hell? Why ain't she in jail? Yeah, right. Cara said she's lying to try to cover her butt. Norma says she's so full of it, right? Jill said, I don't understand that Jenny puff. She speaks bad about Stephan but does not suspect him. Right. He is hideous and a disgusting individual. Cozy, I dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up, I dropped it just now. I'm reading some documents, so if I don't see you, just wait a minute and I pull you up. All right, we're on 38. This is going to talk about basically Madeline and her body location, where she was located at. And it's going to give us a little bit more details about what she was like how they found the body. So I'm going to start right here and read most of this, the rest of this page. Just trying to highlight it so you guys could see. She did, Amanda Page. Hey, Veronica. Pisces, you can come up anytime. October Skies, good to see you. October Sky says she told cops Stearns was a manipulative POS. That's who she asked to sleep with her daughter the night she was unalived, right? Real quick. Bad Girl said Jen changed up because that detective called her out on her BS and wanting a lawyer for the man who molested your child. Right. Jennifer said Mom is a terrible actress, and the cops show those pictures of the BJ. She started talking about him killing her. I don't think he'd do something evil to her, as if the essay wasn't evil, but killing would be. Right. Yep. All right. I'm going to continue reading this, or start reading this. It says, Detective Smallwood, Corporal Illigan, and I responded to the address where we were contacted. Oh my gosh. Y'all, give me a second to take a drink of my coffee so I can get my tongue right.
Good afternoon, everybody, while she's taking a drink of her coffee.
I keep messing up.
No, you're not. You're fine. These are hard to read, and there's a lot of information in them, so you have to read them with a certain feeling. So you're doing it right, girl.
Thank you.
Reading out loud is hard.
Yeah, I think it's this red highlighter I used. I don't think I'm going to use it again. So, starting over, it says Detective Smallwood, Corporal Illigan, and I responded to the address where we contacted several deputies with the Osceola County Sheriff's Office. It was decided the Osceola County Sheriff's Office forensics unit would be processing the scene. I asked to be brought back to where the body was located. Forensics Supervisor Seda walked me to the area where the body was. Based upon the clothing description seen in several videos, the body did appear to be that of Madeline. The lock on the farm was still locked, and it didn't appear to be tampered with. Stephan would have had to drop Madeline's body over the barbed wire fence where the gate was, then move her body to the location she was found. I contacted the Orange Osceola County Medical Examiner's office and asked for them to respond to collect Madeline. Medical Examiner Robinson responded and assisted in processing and preserving the body of Madeline. When Madeline was removed from underneath the dry grass and hay, I immediately was able to identify her by a specific mole she had on her cheek. Madeline showed signs of decomposition to one side of her face and her hands. Madeline was wearing a green hoodie. The hoodie portion was up over the top of her head. Blue jeans and white socks. The bottom of Madeline's socks were clean, which indicates she did not walk anywhere, or the socks would have had dirt on the bottom. Madeline was transported to the medical examiner's office where an autopsy would be performed the following day. I placed a telephone call to Jennifer to let her know that we had located Madeline and that she was deceased. Jennifer started to cry over the phone and handed the phone to her father to continue the conversation. I told him that I would be in touch with the family in the next day or two. On March 2nd, 2024, at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning, Detective Smallwood and I responded to the medical examiner's office for Madeline's autopsy. The autopsy was performed by Mr. Giles. Prior to the autopsy, I examined Madeline's body when it was initially uncovered. I noticed her socks were clean on the bottom, which confirmed my observations when she was located in St. Cloud. During the autopsy, Dr. Giles expressed concern over the hyoid bone in Madeline's neck. Dr. Giles stated the right portion of the bone was not intact, which could possibly be related to her being strangled. Dr. Giles listed the initial outcome of the autopsy as pending. So, that just kind of validates. I found it interesting that they knew that he had to pick her up over the barbed wire fence and could basically say definitively that he picked her up over the fence and put her out there, and it etches in stone basically that her hyoid bone was broken. October Sky said, thinking of Madeline's life and how it ended and a lot more children, it makes it hard to believe in God or the good. It makes life sad because I think of all of this throughout the day. It's hard to think about these things and realize what, unfortunately, people are doing to these children. It is a hard thing. Sometimes you have to take a break and just go do something, go outside and take a walk. I usually do. After my lives, I'll go outside and take a walk because it is a lot. You got to try to get your mind off of it sometimes. Hey, against all logic. Julie says it doesn't seem like it was an accident. I don't know if something got out of hand. I don't know. We're going to talk about that too in a minute when we get to that page. Pisces says, I think the bone that was broken was done accidentally by the dog leash. It's a possibility. Jennifer said, I live with stepdad that calls my kids dad, but I've talked to my kids about bad things since they could speak and still do to this day. They know nobody is to touch them and what to do. So that's good. Unfortunately, it is a conversation we have to have with children nowadays. So that they, know that if somebody's doing something inappropriate, that they need to tell somebody. We talked about that too. Okay. This is going to talk about basically Stephan talking to his dad about being upset that night. It's going to tell us about a phone call. So I'm going to read all of this to you so you can kind of get the synopsis of this. Against All Logic agrees and says that they don't think it was an accident. Something made Stephan snap. Yeah, it's interesting because, like I just read, Jennifer states that he would get irritable easy and he was always negative, which is something that we thought, and she always was like, no, he was a great person, never did anything wrong. And then we're hearing something completely different now. So yeah, I mean, he probably, that makes me think with her saying that yeah, he probably snapped when Madeline was either like, this needs to stop. You're not going to do this anymore. I have a boyfriend. I want to date guys at school. I want you to stop doing this, or something to that effect. All right. So you guys might know this. You probably do, but I felt it important to tell you guys. So I'm going to start right where I highlighted. It says, I asked what Stephan would do when he was in town staying with them, and Chris stated that he would lock himself in his bedroom and only come out to eat dinner. So this is Chris and Deborah Stearns, his parents. Chris stated he brought Stephan back to Northport from Kissimmee because he was tired of supporting him living with Jennifer. Chris stated Stephan was sharing a room with Jennifer, but when they split up, Stephan began living in his own room at the location, so Chris would pay Stephan's rent of $600 a month. Chris said when Stephan moved back to their house, Stephan would lock himself in his room, and there was always tension due to his sleeping disorder. Chris said when Stephan moved back to Northport, he and Jennifer were supposed to be broken up. I asked Chris if Stephan ever said they were officially broken up, and he said yes and no. Chris stated Jennifer told him the week prior to Stephan coming to Kissimmee for this incident that Jennifer told him she didn't want Stephan as a partner and he wouldn't be a good partner for her. Chris stated he assumed they officially ended their relationship because Stephan had recently been seeing another female. I asked how many times Stephan went to Kissimmee after he moved back home. They stated he went to Kissimmee 3 different times, including this most recent time, once being during Thanksgiving and the other was Christmas. Deborah stated in the last year or so, Madeline began showing signs of being bipolar. I asked if she witnessed Jennifer and Madeline butting heads, as she previously mentioned, and she said no. Deborah said she would only hear them arguing over the phone. Deborah stated she didn't think Madeline was a very social person, and she didn't have many friends. This was odd because Madeline had several friends at her current school. But neither of them knew what Stephan and Jennifer's medical routines were. I asked if Stephan would drive the silver Lincoln to Kissimmee when he visited Jennifer. Chris said that he would drive Chris's Lincoln because he didn't trust Stephan's vehicle. I asked why Stephan went to Kissimmee this most recent time, and Chris said it was for Madeline's birthday. It was, again, for Madeline's birthday. Deborah stated Madeline called Stephan on the 24th of February to make sure that he was coming. Chris said something was off with Stephan and he was very upset. Stephan was anxiously looking for anxiety medication from Chris and Deborah, but was unsuccessful. Chris said Stephan looked very stressed out on Saturday evening. Chris said he felt that Stephan was more stressed out over something rather than upset about something, but had no idea what was stressing him out. I asked him when did they hear about what happened with Madeline's disappearance, and Chris said he spoke with Stephan when he arrived in Kissimmee on the 25th. Chris said he tried to get a hold of Stephan several times on the 26th, Monday morning, but he didn't get an answer. Stephan called Chris at 17 hours, and Stephan's voice seemed a little off. During that conversation, Stephan tells Chris he got a flat tire somewhere on Highway 192. Stephan tells Chris that he changed the tire but got injured during the process due to pinching his finger between the jack and the vehicle. Stephan then calls Chris back at 16:54 hours, and Stephan tells Chris that there has been, quote, an occurrence, and he was on his way to Madeline's grandmother's house. Chris thought that it was a strange use of words. So,
I'm sorry, who said that they thought that Maddie was showing bipolar symptoms?
Deborah.
Okay.
Stephan's mom. And I read this to you to give you, excuse me. His dad picked up that his tone was off. His dad said that an occurrence was a strange choice of words. I found that important. I also found it important that Maddie called Stephan, and then he was stressed out. She called him, asked him to come to the birthday party, and then he's extremely stressed out about something, and that he was anxious about something or more than worried or whatever. What I just read you, I found all those things to be interesting. Lori said, I think the tripod was in Maddie's drawer in her room. I think so too, if I remember correctly. October Sky says she was upset. He was upset. We still don't know why. I think it's because she took a pregnancy test. It's very possible. And then Veronica said, she says she didn't even trust her own dad, Maddie's grandpa, and yet they slept together many times too. Yeah. Oh, Jill said Deborah's talking with her butt cheeks. That's an interesting picture I just got in my head. Okay. This is interesting. Now, let's scroll down. This is going to tell us about the cell phones. Hold on a minute. Let me get a drink of coffee. Okay, I apologize. Okay, down here is where it starts, like right above this big black box, and then below is where it starts talking about the cell phone uses. This reiterates how the roommate was saying Stephan was going in and out of the house. The next time she saw Stephan, he was doing laundry. Let me see. I'm going to read this part. It's going to talk about her telling Jennifer. I'm going to read. It's around that part. So it's about her telling Jennifer about being uncomfortable with Stephan and Maddie being in Stephan's room. So it says, I asked if she ever witnessed Stephan and Madeline going into Stephan's bedrooms by themselves, and she said yes. Jennifer would be at the house when this occurred. Angelica said that she had a conversation with Jennifer about Stephan and Madeline going into the same room together, and Jennifer would tell her that Stephan would never harm Madeline, so she was okay with it happening. Angelica stated she had another conversation with Jennifer about her sexual interactions or lack thereof with Stephan. Angelica said they didn't have sexual relations often, and that is why she didn't want to be with him any longer. When Stephan was told he had to move out of the house, Angelica stated he was not happy. Madeline did not appear to be upset with Stephan moving out of the house. And then she's also stated later in that interview that she has never seen Stephan take Madeline to school. Okay, and then now we're down here. Over the next couple of weeks, I reviewed the cellular phone data that was extracted from Stephan, Jen, and Madeline's phone. Madeline's phone revealed the following. And I'm going to start here. On December 16th at 12:47 or 0:47 hours, Madeline sends a text message to Stephan that contained a photograph of 2 coins. And then it's blocked this out. It says the detailed information about steps in the health application for iPhone during the time frame between February 25th at 20:30 hours and the 26th at 1600 hours. So on the 25th at 22:09, I don't know military time, maybe y'all do, there was 9 steps taken. On the 25th.
What is it? I'm sorry. What was the time?
22:09 hours.
That's 10 p.m. Military time, you just subtract 12.
Okay.
Like 12 hours. You know, like if it's 22 minus 12 is 10 p.m. Because 12 o'clock is noon, and then 13 is like 1 p.m.
Okay, thank you so much.
10 p.m.
Okay, so at 10:09, 9 steps were taken. And then at 11:19 on the 25th, 31 steps were taken and 1 floor climbed, which matched the time when Jennifer sent Maddie and Stephan upstairs to go to sleep. So I'm assuming this is still Madeline's phone. The next morning at 7:05, there was 113 steps. We're right here. And then the same morning, 10 minutes later, there was 50 steps. So somebody's got her phone and is walking all over the place with her phone. On the 26th at 10:55, 8 steps taken, which is when Stephan is back in the residence. So who's moving her phone around?
Wait. Sorry, read that again.
The last one?
Yeah, like that. When the phone, like, I can't talk today. When there were movements with her phone, it was outside?
No, it's the last one was 8 steps, which is when Stephan is back at the residence.
Oh, I'm confused. Was this the day? Is it Sunday evening?
No, it's Monday. So she went missing on the 26th. So the night before she went missing at 10:09, there was 9 steps taken. And then on the 25th at 11:19, there's 31 steps taken and 1 floor climbed, which matched the time that Jennifer sent Madeline and Stephan upstairs to go to sleep. The next morning at 7:05 in the morning, which would be when Stephan was doing whatever, there was 113 steps taken with Madeline's phone. And then 10 minutes later, there's 50 more steps taken. And then that night at 10:55, there's 8 steps taken, which is when Stephan is back at the residence.
So,
sorry.
This is Monday evening after she's been reported missing, right?
Yes.
And he still has her phone.
Evidently.
Oh, he never threw away her phone. I never thought about that. He just threw away her backpack with a computer laptop.
Yeah, and the phone is found on her dresser and it's in here somewhere. We're going to talk about that, but if the phone was found on, I guess during this time period, Jen would have technically been asleep. So maybe he just hasn't placed it on her dresser yet. Hey, Serenity. Veronica said, I'm not keeping track of my cycle, and Jen doing that is kind of creepy to me due to the fact that she was not vigilant at all, in my opinion. Veronica, I've talked about that before. Like, I've said, I've raised 4 girls, and 3 of them have become young ladies, and I don't track their cycles. But then again, I homeschool them. They're here with me, so I know for 100% fact they're not active. So I don't find it necessary for me to keep track of their cycles. Now, to be fair, sometimes the doctor will say you need to keep track of your cycles because a medication could affect it or something like that. But I found that weird too, because having had 3 girls and knowing that they're not doing anything, I've never kept track of theirs. Sue Joy.
Because wouldn't a teenage girl just I have a really good relationship with my mom. So I remember when it was like a big deal. It was when I got my period for the first time. So anytime I got it monthly, I would just tell my mom. But she didn't track it. It's weird. I don't think it's weird that for a parent to track it, even though my mom never tracked mine.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just something to keep track of. But I guess it's, maybe, some girls wouldn't tell their mom, but you're going to need pads or something. So you would have to tell her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no point. I'm just spitballing.
No, you're good. Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. It could be something. It could be nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you could have, in the beginning, she's 13, right? I got the first time when I was 12. In the first few years when you get your period, it's never regular. Never, but it's usually not regular, right?
Right.
I never knew when I would get mine. I would have disasters and now accidents in school all the time because I didn't even track it. But what am I trying to say? I don't know. I'm only keeping. I've stopped keeping track of all the other true crime stories. I'm just keeping up on this because there's so much information. But
yeah,
for me, it's not weird for a parent to not track it.
Yeah,
and it's also not weird for a parent to track it. So you're tracking her medications, you're tracking her periods, but
right.
It's you can't judge something with just one piece of information. You can't judge anything with one piece of information. You know what I mean? like if you take one sentence out of a whole text, now I'm going to go into teacher mode. You know, you need the context. You can't just judge someone by one time that you saw them. You can't. So just by saying like, oh, that's weird that she was keeping track of Maddie's cycles. Like, I'm not like saying this to like criticize any of you guys that think it's weird. I'm just like, we're just like thinking, right? But, shit, ADHD. I'm sorry.
My family
but yeah,
personally
like,
did not talk about it.
Yeah, some families don't even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like some girls, their moms don't even teach them. They just find out when this thing starts happening, you know, because they were taught like that. That's how they grew up. That's their generation. So, you know, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is like one piece of information isn't enough for us to judge like a whole. I'm not defending Jen, you know,
Right.
I'm defending, I can't stand her. Well, I'm just like trying to like point something out, like,
Right.
oh, she tracked her cycle. So obviously she was doing something like she knew. You know
Hold
what I
on,
mean?
Cozy. Hold on, Cozy. Go ahead. Allegedly, she's been waiting.
Oh, I know. I'm going to get to it in just a second. Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, no. You know what I'm saying?
what
Like, I'm not saying this to defend her. It's just like, but when we start to put everything together, you know, like, oh yeah, so your ex-boyfriend still lives with you? I mean, whatever. Some people have that kind of relationship. Oh, but you let your ex-boyfriend go to sleep in another room with your kid? Oh,
Right.
And your ex-boyfriend's got his boxers mixed in with your kid's clothes? You know what I mean? Like, when you start piling on the facts, then like, you know, information after information and then like thing out, like, you know what I mean? Then you're like, so she's not this great hyper-vigilant mother that she's trying to present to us, you know?
Right. Sue Joy said, just a theory, maybe Madeline called Stephan to not come to the house, exercising her newfound independence, and in turn stressed Stephan out. Remember, Maddie also told her friends she's felt a meltdown coming on. That was an interesting theory. And then real quick, Eek gifted 20 memberships. So if you guys were gifted a membership from Eek, please tell her thank you. She has been waiting for the train song, and I'm going to play it. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, like 5 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because it took me a minute to get there. Thank you so very much, Eek. That was so sweet of you. Thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I can't believe you did that. Thank you so much. If you guys were gifted a membership from Eek, please tell her thank you. And thank you, Eek. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet and supportive. I will play our song real quick. Thank you, Eek. I was calling it a song, but y'all know what I mean. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Eek. Sue Joy, that was a really interesting comment because I had not thought about like her calling him and saying, don't come to my party. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to see you at the house. Please leave me alone. Like that thought had never crossed my mind. And what if she did? Like, what if she did? That would explain how he would come there and pretty much immediately do what happened. I don't remember seeing the meltdown coming from the friend. I'd have to validate that, but that is a really interesting theory, and I had never even thought about it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't see the chat. That's why I didn't see that.
Oh no, you're good.
Gifted the things, and I was like looking away. I'm trying to like clean my keyboard and go into the work here. Sorry. But yeah, and you know how the Stearns said that Stinky was like super anxious that day. He was like freaking out the day before. So what you're saying right there makes sense. Maybe she was like, yeah, you can't come. You know, like my grandmother doesn't like you, or I don't want you here, or whatever. And he was freaking out because like, oh, she's cutting me off. You know?
That's
a theory.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Because they were both freaking out. You know, it's just too much happening all together. That's when it's not just a coincidence. You know, he comes over again on the day that she died. I mean, we know he did it. We can't. I mean, maybe it was Jen. I mean, you know, but whatever. Yeah. He's definitely involved with a lot of it. You know, And then, oh yeah, she forgot her phone. Oh yeah, he took her to school, first time ever. Oh yeah, he did laundry, first time ever. Oh yeah.
Right.
So it's like a lot of first time evers. Oh, he went to walk the dog, first time ever. It's when that's what I mean. Like when you start one piece of information, you can't really prove or disprove anything, but then you start putting everything together. That's, you know, and people
Right.
think that maybe we're just out here with like pitchforks and like torches because we just hate Jen for no reason. We don't even know this woman. We don't, if we hate her or at least strongly dislike her, it's not for no reason.
Yeah, she's done
Because
some things.
look, you know, she lies. All she did was lie. She failed to protect her daughter. And I know that this can happen inside a house with the, you know, the actual biological father or stepfather, whatever, and the mother actually doesn't know about it. But
Yeah.
you know, everything that she says points to her knowing and being okay with it. I mean, she did say, well, it wasn't really evil. Like and she kept trying to be like in denial with the cop. She was like, oh well, let's say that this is true. Let's say this picture is real. Like almost calling the cops a liar. You know,
Right.
when he showed her the photo, the horrific photo, she's like, I kind of don't want to see it again, but I kind of do. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? I mean, you know, and then she's like, yeah, well, let's say that the sex stuff happened. Like, that's okay. Like, you know, I didn't think he had done anything evil. Like, I'm literally like, almost word for word for what she said. I think I know all of her interviews by heart at this point.
Right.
So we're not just like ragging on her because we just decided to make her our scapegoat for whatever reason. And we're just, you know, so
Yeah.
she is involved in it, at least in the cover up. She was providing him an alibi. She was allowing it to happen, maybe even encouraging it to happen. And the worst part is, I mean, I don't know what's the worst part, but like she's not even like sad about it.
Right.
She lost her daughter. She couldn't shed one tear. But then, oh, it's my birthday. Oh, it's my worst birthday ever. Your worst birthday. Your
Right.
daughter was murdered on her birthday. I think she had the worst birthday ever. And then Stinky in prison was also like, oh, worst birthday, because he got slapped with whatever it was that he got slapped with, whatever
Right.
charge in prison. It's like
And
these two selfish jack
Right.
But-
That's the issue.
heads, you know, and
Yeah.
they're not the main actor here. Like the main point is Maddie. She was, you know, she needed to be protected.
And that's everybody's issue, because it's like, how could you not protect her? Right. I mean, that's the issue with Jen. Mary, thank you so much for the $5. That was super sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Mary says, in my opinion, Jen was seeing yellow flags and not red flags and slept in too much. Like she's guilty of being a bad mom, but not necessarily guilty of anything else. And I mean, yeah, that's a possibility too, you know. Maybe she was so medicated or, you know, slept too much, like you said, that she saw maybe some things that were iffy, but really trusted him and thought that nothing was happening. And I mean, it seems to be that that's where the cops are with it, because they say that she's not involved, or that he acted independently, from what I remember from yesterday's live, the actual words. Liddy
no, I
said,
missed it. Where did you, what?
so the police, thank you so much for the super sticker, Direct Current. It's so nice to see you here, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That was so sweet and supportive of you. Thank you. So in an interview with Chris Stearns in July, she says that Jen, or the cops, he's saying, you know, that Jen is involved. Why haven't you arrested her? Basically, they were running a criminal enterprise from what he thinks. And the cops say they've been through thousands of hours of Jennifer's phone and things like that. And from what they can tell, she's not involved, and that Stephan was working independently. So going back to what Mary said, I mean, basically they're saying, yeah, there was a lot of yellow flags and maybe she's not the best mom, but right now she's not involved at that point. But again, to be fair, if they are going, they're not going to tell him that they're looking at Jennifer, right? They're going to say, but I would think if that was the case and they really thought that, you know, they were looking into Jen or she could possibly be involved, I would think that they would say, well, the investigation is ongoing and we can't give you details about the investigation, not, we've been through thousands of hours of her phone and all of that, and from what we can tell, she's not involved and he worked independently. You know what I mean? So
Ugh, yeah. Yeah, the cops are going to be like, yeah, so we're like investigating this person and we're like, we think we're going to arrest them. You know, they're not going to give away their cards. But, oh, God, I hope that's not all the information, you know, because.
right. Ike, you make
she's
me
at
laugh.
least an accessory after the fact.
Right. Yeah, that's what you would think, right?
At least, because, you know, when the cops showed her the photos, I'm sorry, I'm talkative today. I'll stop in a minute.
You're good.
But she was like, yeah, you need to get him a lawyer right now. Oh, I didn't think he was guilty. I thought you were just going after the wrong party. Like, I don't know. I really, I literally prayed to God for justice for Maddie, to not let this woman go free, because she's involved at least in a cover-up. At least. You can't tell me she didn't know her daughter was dead.
Right.
And I'll stop now.
No, you're fine, honey. You're fine. Real quick, I'm going to read these comments and we'll get back to the documents. Jennifer said, always law L8, always late. Exactly. I would effing know because my kid would change, but I know my kid would tell me because I raised her to know about this crap, right? Yeah, a lot of us unfortunately have to have those conversations with our kids. Against All Logic said she's a scammer with everything. I don't believe that she did not know anything. At the very least, she has guilty knowledge. And she does. It seems that way, right? Because I'm like, the cops interview her and they're like, how do you know these things? That's a weird thing to just guess. And they're, you know, you come to find out in July, they're saying he acted independently. So it's hard. Chim, I'm going to call you Chim. I don't know I'm not going to try to say your name. Said Jen Soto acted more like she'd been cheated on rather than he'd been abusing her daughter, in my opinion. Yeah. Hey, Beach Bomb. Donna said.
And that was the Woody Allen comment.
Yep.
She was afraid that he would steal the daughter would fall in love. That they would run away together. And she said, you can't do this to me. To you. You can't do this to my daughter. You know?
Right.
Sorry, cut you off.
No, you're fine. It's okay. Donna said, when the police arrested Stephan, that's when she threw him under the bus. She may have thought they weren't looking for her at all. Yep. Sue Joy, real quick, said, only when you can get an opportunity, check back to Maddie's friend interview on Saturday before the birthday party. Friend does say Maddie was very upset and having a meltdown. Thanks for all you do, so important. I do remember that. She said Maddie was very upset. Now that you say that, and having a meltdown, I think it was at the birthday party or right before that. You're absolutely right. I remember that now. Yep. I'd have to pull it up so everybody else, so I can verify it for you guys, but it's okay. I'll have to pull it up at another time. Teresa says she also didn't think Chris would tell the cops what she said. Absolutely. And then lastly, real quick, and I'll get back to the document. Veronica said it's very telling in many ways, her Woody Allen situation, and you can't do that to me. Why not say that would be gross, perverted, and disgusting? Right. Thank you, Jennifer Hall, for the support. I really appreciate that. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Jennifer said, Jen, a feeling and chose to ignore it. Yeah, she had a feeling and chose to ignore it. Yeah. And it's like, as a parent, I don't know, man. Like, if I got a feeling like that, I'd be like, paying real close attention. I'd be like, I don't like this shit. I'm probably going to go with my gut, because most of the time your gut is right anyway, and tell the person to leave. But I'm sure she was like, what if I'm wrong about it? But I still think you should have paid more close attention. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a hard situation to be in, but it's just hard for us all to think that she saw all that and ignored it. Like, there's just too many signs.
And who thinks that it's okay to send your child to go sleep in another room with a grown-ass man?
Right.
Not even the father. I'm sorry. You shouldn't even do that with the biological father. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, my mom is 70. She's 74. So she's from another generation, right? Like, my grandparents were born in 1900s, literally. So a completely different generation from us. that didn't talk about this stuff, and you know what I mean? They didn't talk to their kids. They had kids, and their kids had to work in the farm. That's what it was. That's the reality. But my mom tells me that, like, my grandmother, her mother, would never let, and my mom, it was like 4 boys and 4 girls. So my mom had like 7 brothers and sisters. So, and they all lived in a small house, but it was like the boys had their room and the girls had their room. And my mom said that her mom, that was born in 1900, like literally never allowed the boys and the girls to be alone together.
Right.
She didn't let the girls to sit on like boys' laps, not even the father. So like, I'm guessing maybe even my grandmother must have been abused to like know. And if she wasn't, she certainly knew about someone that was abused, because abuse is so rampant. You know what I mean? So can you imagine, you know, if you're like, well, it's from like a completely different generation, whatever, like today, who thinks this shit's okay?
Right.
You know, look, grandmother was born more than 100 years ago. She already had this insight. She's like, no, you're not going to spend time alone, not even with the brothers and the sisters. And she didn't let them like sit on the father's lap, I guess, after a certain age or whatever. And they weren't exactly like huggy, touchy, feely people. You know, they would be just spanking. That was all the touch they would do with their kids. It was just spanking. So who thinks that it's okay? Only in Willy Wonka land, where everybody sleeps in the same bed. You know what I mean? Like, who thinks that is okay? To be like, yeah, so like that, at least that's neglect. Willful neglect. At least.
Right.
You know?
And even with the Willy Wonka situation, they slept in the same bed because it was a poverty thing, and I'm sure they weren't like sitting on each other's laps and doing things like that otherwise.
Yeah, you know, because it was like one bed for everybody, so y'all just kind of like scooch on over. But you know what I mean? Like, there's just no excuse for it. In a day like today, what's the excuse for Maddie not having a room? There isn't one. There's no logic excuse for her not having a room.
Right.
There's no logic excuse to let this grown-ass man, just take her upstairs to a room with 2 damn locks on the door.
Yep.
I don't know how many of you could ever have like a boyfriend over. Like, I never had a boyfriend over when I was a teenager. I never even had a boyfriend when I was a teenager. But like, how many of you, if you were a teenager and you had a boyfriend or boy crush or a boy friend, like a male friend, and he could come over and hang out with you, and your parents let you hang out in your room with the door closed?
Right. My mom, we could,
if you had like a play date. No, it's in the living room when we're here. When I got my eye on you.
We sat in the living room, or if we went upstairs, my door had to be open. Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's like just common sense. And like, sure, go sleep with her upstairs because I can't be bothered. I can't share my king size bed.
Right.
She just sucks.
Yeah, I agree. Sarah said, hell no to the no. I can't play it because I got in trouble last time. All right, we'll continue back with the document. On February 26th at 14, so that would be 2:37, there was 54 steps, which is when Jennifer would be taking Madeline's phone to her when she left to go pick her up from school. And then on the 26th at 17:03, so what is that? 14, 15, 16, 17.
17 is 5 p.m.
Okay, thank you. I have trouble.
It sucks. You gotta do math to find out the time. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. So at 5:03, that's where the next steps continued. And then we're reading this paragraph right here. It says, Madeline's phone was plugged into charge on the 25th of February, 2024 at 23:38. So I'd say 11:38. I think it's either 10:38 or 11:38. Madeline's phone is unplugged from the charger on the 26th at 7 o'clock. The phone is then powered off at 7:16 in the morning. This pattern of Madeline's cell phone use is not typical of her normal day, which shows this activity was not physically done by Madeline. On the 26th at 10:55 a.m. is the next time Madeline's cellular phone is turned back on, which coincides with the 8 steps it moved at the same time. Stephan and Angelica would have been the only people in the house at this time, and per Angelica's statement, she was inside of her bedroom during this time and only seen Stephan while he was doing laundry. Now we're at the second paragraph. Upon reviewing Stephan's cellular phone download, the following was observed. On February 26th at 12:12, a factory reset was done on the phone. This can only be accomplished by navigating the settings option in the phone, tapping General Management, swipe, and tap Reset, then tap Factory Data Reset, and then review the information. Once reviewing the information is complete, swipe and tap Reset. If there's a password on the phone at this time, a person would have to enter their password. This shows that Stephan could not have accidentally reset his phone. It has nothing to do with the phone update, as he stated during his previous statements made under oath. Another factory reset was done on Stephan's cellular phone on the 27th at 12 o'clock midnight. This would be the time frame of his last two statements to law enforcement and before he drove Jennifer's car to St. Cloud. Also on Stephan's cellular phone was over 1,000 images in a, says sexual offense, I would assume Maddie, in his photographs. Most of these photographs are sexually graphic in nature. These images will be described upon reviewing Google's Drive information. Stephan also searches sevoflurane on 2 different dates, the 12th of February and the 14th of February. Sevoflurane is a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, analgesia, akinesia, and atomic blockade during surgical and procedural interventions. Oh my goodness.
Doesn't that sound like premeditation?
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, he could have been just Googling it because for no reason. You know, if it was found in his system, then that would be premeditation. I would assume. You know what I mean? But like,
right?
Who just? I mean, we Google all sorts of weird shit. I get it. Like, if you're a writer, you have to Google like, how do you kill someone? You know, like,
well,
our Google searches would be very.
If they pulled mine, I'd be in jail.
You know, exactly. You know,
right.
There's like a Reddit for writers that just like is all the horrible questions, and it's like we're just asking for asking. You know, like even I used ChatGPT to Google something, and I got like a warning, and I had to tell ChatGPT, I'm like, I'm just Googling this for a story. Like this isn't. It's just theoretical. So yeah, he could just been theoretically randomly Googling that, and you know, when we talk about premeditation. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm just saying from stuff that I've seen many true crime docs and videos. Premeditation could be like 2 seconds. It doesn't have to be like days or hours even. You know what I mean? Like if I'm standing in front of you and you piss me off right now and I'm just like, all right, I'm going to get this thing and whack you on the head with it. Premeditation can be just seconds.
Right.
It doesn't, you know what I mean? You don't need to be planning for like days and years. So, but I mean, this is 2 or 3 weeks before her birthday.
Yeah.
God knows why he's researching this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like 10 to 12 days or 11 to 13 or 14 days before. And I don't understand why he would search it either. I mean, obviously, I don't think he was taking it. So it would have had to have been for Jen or Maddie. But why is he searching it on the 12th and the 14th? And we know the 14th is when Maddie stopped taking her medication per her friend.
Yeah, and this is a medication, like you just read, that will make the person not move.
Yeah.
And we know from that girl's testimony that she was like, you know, she was, I guess, dating him for a while, whatever. And she said that the only time that he was very fully able at attention was when she laid face down and pretended that she was a corpse. And then she's like, this guy is really weird. Then he comes over and starts saying some really weird stuff involving a child. And you see what I mean?
Yep.
She didn't last years with him. She was with him. He did some weird thing. And you know how she's like, I just thought he was stupid. I love it when she says that. I just figured he was an idiot and just said weird shit. You know, because when we feel something weird about someone, it's like I said before, like sometimes we just judge someone on one thing, but they do one thing and you're like, well, that's weird, you know, and then they do something else. You're like, well, that's kind of odd. And then they say something else and you're like, well, that's kind of strange. And that's maybe inappropriate. And she very quickly saw the red flags and was like, yeah, I'm not dating this guy. And she didn't have a child to protect.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And Jen is like, oh, no, everything is perfectly fine. There's no danger here. Nothing to see here. Keep moving.
Hey, sweeties. Yep. Mary, if you let me know what your question is, hon, I'll try to catch it. I'm gonna continue reading this, so I'll try to make sure I go back and catch it. Hey, Maggie. Maggie said searching it to sleep her, not kill her, so accidental, but she's still a dead body. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Mary said, do we know if she was awake with or looked knocked out? Okay. So I don't know if you're talking about the friend or Madeline. The girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend, she was awake, but he wanted her to lay down and basically pretend to be deceased and like not move, just lay on her stomach. And so like basically laying on her stomach and just looking deceased. Right now, Malibu Surf, I'm allegedly speculating. The other person on panel right now is Cozy Constellations.
And in some of the
picture.
images and videos, Maddie looked unconscious, seemed to be unconscious, or was. And we know that he would accidentally double dose her to, with stuff to make her fall asleep. So
yeah,
there's a pattern here. That's what I was trying to say. Like there's a pattern of behavior,
Yeah. In the pictures, the graphic pictures of Madeline, I don't know. The only thing I can gather is the charge is sexual performance by a child. Like, I don't know if that necessarily means she's like performing, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Like, it could be she's knocked out. It could be she's not. I don't know that we'll know that until trial.
Yeah, I've heard I think it was some other channel in the chat that people didn't like it, that law enforcement like used that wording, like the child, like the performance by a child, because I know the child can't consent, but just performing is just like technical term for like doing, like, the child was actually doing something instead of something was being done to them, like actively doing.
Right. Yeah.
Pamela always had been making fake snuff film. Like, I totally agreed with that. I even think that maybe he was choking Maddie for
yeah,
autoerotic. I mean, that wouldn't be autoerotic, that would be just erotic asphyxiation. And maybe
erotic.
He's a child and he's too strong. I mean, that's something risky, like, oh, just do it with someone you trust. I don't trust nobody to do that to me, because they could just get carried away and choke you right there. And just
Heather said, women, in my honest opinion, have gut instinct. Maybe throw back to primeval times, wanting the best offspring from the best mate, or to protect themselves. Jen Soto was asleep when hers was handed out, no doubt. Hey, Mallory, good to see you. The pic they showed, Jill says, the pic they showed to Jen, she was awake. Thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know. I would assume and again, I'm not trying to be graphic, but I don't know. Well, what I was going to say is she was performing fellatio on Stephan in the picture that they showed Jen. But then I'm going to read to you about another time when he just is like taking pictures of his member in her mouth and she's asleep. So I don't know. I would assume she's awake in that picture, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be my thought. All right. Okay, Pisces, thank you for being here, love. It was good to see you. Okay, so continuing on down here, I'm going to start back right about blur. Okay. Sevoflurane is a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, analgesia, akesnia, and atomic blockade during surgical and procedural interventions. Clinical uses include inhalation, induction of general anesthesia in neonatal and pediatric patients secondary to IVs. This information was obtained by Google. It is unknown why Stephan would be searching this item using the search terms of, quote, show up in a drug test right here, when he wasn't attempting to get a job or he didn't have any children that were having surgery. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to talk about somebody in my comments who just said they were searching it because Jen had blood work. So he was searching it because he knew Jen had blood work, possibly. And that's
so she's just taking something to knock herself out?
I don't know, but that would explain to me why it says why he asked would it show up in a drug test when he's not trying to get a job. He knows that she's having blood work done. So maybe, I mean, that makes sense. He would want to know if it's going to show up in her blood work, or they would want to know if it was going to show up in her blood work, if it's something that she was taking.
But this is something that is like hospital grade.
Right, but they use it at
Where would he get this?
They use it at veterinary clinics or veterinary places, and I was
maybe his
wondering,
parents had access to it because they
right?
were like,
Yeah, but I don't know.
Tails off dogs, which is like animal cruelty. Like, cut your tail off.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Also,
But again, yeah, you know how they will cut the tails off dogs or whatever. And oh my God, why?
Yeah, I don't understand.
But again, if that was for the animals, who is doing blood test drugs? Who is drug screening dogs?
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying that he could have got it from the parents because the parents have it for the dogs, and then he uses it for Jen or himself or somebody, or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is, like, if he's like, oh no, that was for the dogs. Well, if you're Googling would it show up in a drug screen, who's drug screening your dogs? That doesn't, you know what I mean? So there is no excuse. I don't know. It's just everything just points to them being so guilty.
Yeah. Shelley says that was one detective saying that, referring to the CSAM. Even if they truly believed that, I still think otherwise. Why did Jen Soto act so shady? She slept comfortably while Maddie was so-called missing. She did. She talks about having to take her medicine and go to sleep while her child is missing. I wanted to get up and reach through my computer screen and smack her. I don't understand how anybody could be sleeping, needing to get some sleep when their child is missing. Hey, ZB Smith.
Yeah.
ZB Smith
like, you don't even remember to take your meds. You're just so like out of it because you're desperate. You're trying to find a child, and she's like, well, I gotta get some dinner and I have to take my meds and get some sleep. Like, still, she's a sociopath. She has zero empathy for her daughter.
Yep. Angela Ballerita said, what if Stephan was drugging Jen? It's possible. ZV Smith, I got 2 comments I'm going to read real quick. Hold on just a minute. Okay. ZB Smith said, when Jen said that was her being herself. Her voice and tone was exact. Yeah. I mean, you can tell the difference in the voice change. Like, she'll get more high-pitched, or actually she gets more low-pitched and talks like a baby when she's lying or doesn't want to admit the truth. Donna says, trigger warning. Here's our trigger warning. I think he took pictures and videos of Madeline no longer alive. I would think pedos pay more money for that type of snuff material. It's possible. My thought, well, yeah, I can't. Maybe we could talk about that through email, because I have some thoughts on that when you say that, but I don't want to. That's just too much to be talking about here.
It's so dark that it's hard to even think about. You know.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's a hard thing to think about, but you know,
and if we're not involved in this dark stuff, when you hear about it, like, you don't even want to believe it. You're like, no way people do that, and they do even worse stuff that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, and it's a horrible thing, but it's things that we have to think about or talk about in this case, you know. Hey, Joyous. Joyous said, I'd be curious to know what was on Jen's blood work results. I would too. I don't think we could find out, but because of HIPAA, but that would be interesting. All right, back to this article. We're right here. Upon reviewing Jennifer's cellular phone download, the following was observed. Jen would set an alarm at 7:30 a.m. on days that she would bring Madeline to school. There were messages between Jennifer and Stephan on February 25th, 2024, starting at 23:39. I think that would be 10:39. That stated the following. At 10:39, Jennifer texts Stephan, quote, make sure she goes to bed right now. At 10:39, Stephan replies, okay, sweetie, good night. At 10:39.
Oh, sweetie.
This is all on the 25th. I'm sorry. This is all on February 25th. So at 10:39, Jennifer replies, "Good night." At 10:40, Stephan texts Jennifer and says she's built her nest and is settling in now. At 10:40, Jennifer replies, "Okay, good." And then it says these messages confirm what Jennifer states during her interviews, that Stephan and Madeline were alone in his, it's going to say room. Okay, this is going to get graphic and triggering. This is going to give us detail of what's in what some of the files say. I got to this part in the homicide indictment at the end of my last video that I've got out so far, and I had to stop. 11. Y'all are telling me 11. Thank you for that. So I'll read that. It's 11. So let me reread that real quick. On the 25th at 11:39, Jennifer texts Stephan, "Make sure she goes to bed right now." February 25th at 11:39, Stephan says, "Okay, sweetie, good night." And then 25th at 11:39, Jennifer says, "Good night." Like, no sweetie, no I love you, just good night. And then at 11:40, Stephan texts Jen and says she's built her nest and is settling in now. And then the 25th at 11:40, Jennifer replies, "Okay, good." Now, the police say that matches with him being in the bedroom alone with Madeline on that night. Now we're right here. When I get down here, I will let you know. I'm going to give you a very heavy trigger warning when I get to that part, because it's going to be hard to hear. It's going to be hard for me to read. It's hard. Okay. Right now, we're at the paragraph above. It says, on February 25th, Jennifer set her cellular phone on a wireless charger at 11:54. On the 26th, Jennifer set an alarm to go off at 9 o'clock. The alarm was removed from the notifications while still on the wireless charger. On the 26th at 9:19, Jennifer's cellular phone was physically removed from the wireless charger. This is consistent with her daily activities with removing the alarm notifications or snoozing the alarm. There were several other messages between her and Stephan regarding Madeline sleeping in the same room together. There was also text messages between Stephan and Jennifer claiming Stephan gave Madeline an extra dose of her medication when it was not necessary. Okay, she turned the alarm off, didn't set it to go back off, but woke up at 9:19 like she was already up, but she left her phone on the charger. I mean, I guess she could have got up at 9. And then you said that Stephan gave Madeline an extra dose of her medication when it wasn't necessary. So when was it necessary? Because if you're saying it wasn't necessary at this time, when was it necessary for her to get an extra dose?
And remember that he had done it before. And she said, according to her, who knows if it's true, but she got so freaked out that she called poison control. I don't think she called poison control. But I mean, this has happened at least more than once. This time right here, and another time when she called poison control.
Well, when she does, I think it's in the immunity interview, she talks about she called poison control because Stephan gave Madeline purple pills, which were her THC pills. And so evidently Stephan gave Madeline some basically weed pills, and that's when she called poison control, if I remember correctly from the immunity interview. I remember we were listening to that when I heard that. Mm-hmm.
And remember the pattern, he didn't do it just once, but twice. Why does grown-ass man need to give her medication? She's 12, 13. She can take her pills. Right. She's like, we have to have eyes on her. Like she's trying to make Maddie into this like incapable girl who can't do anything for herself. Oh, we got to have eyes on her because she's so hyper vigilant. And then if you're so worried that she might take the wrong medication, just take a freaking sticky note and just write it like morning, evening, and stick it on the bottle with a different color. It's not that hard.
Right.
She's a smart girl. She's not incapable of, oh my goodness, of figuring it out which medication to take. You know what I mean? If she's so worried. And then this clown, has to help her with her night routine. Oh yeah, help her take a shower and brush her teeth. Real hard.
Like, for real? Yeah.
She's 12 years old. She can't build a house, but she can take her medication, change, clothes, take a shower, brush her hair, wash her face. Like, she can do that on her own.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, she's trying to play this hyper vigilant, super suspicious of everything parent. And at the same time, she needs a man. She sends her to sleep with a man. And if all of this stuff happened in her house, when did all the abuse happen in the house under her hyper vigilant eyes? There's no way she can be innocent. Come on.
I know, but the cops are saying, like, I'm just like, are y'all for real right now? It's so infuriating. Hey, Jenny Jen, Pink Burst. I saw a couple other. Yeah, Maggie May said use a pill divider box for real, like for freaking real. Teresa, Sub Rosie, you got. I keep playing that song, like the song, in my head when I read that. You're so funny, Sub Rosa. Teresa said, trigger warning. Those roommates must have heard abuse. That's not a brick-built house. Everyone turned their back on this poor child. The walls are thin. I'll give you that. I'm sure they are thin as like a sheet of paper, but I don't know. I mean, if she was quiet, maybe not. I don't think personally that the roommates would have heard something like that and not said something. Just like the grandparents. I don't think the grandparents would know something like that and not say something. Direct Current, thank you for being here, says, in my opinion, Jen was in on it from the get-go, letting him take pictures of her. And in my opinion, I think even Jen may have taken pictures of her, as she said, I can't, it's too risky. Proof, in my opinion. Yeah, I've heard that too. And I think so too. But like the cops are saying, he worked independent. So I'm like, what? Like, I could do better police work, but I don't want to say anything bad about the police. I'm just like, how can you say she's not involved and he worked independently? Like, I really hope it's just some kind of story or something and she's going to get charged later, like most of us do. Hey, Jenny Jen. And then lastly, real quick, Luna said her sister could have stayed to help Maddie if she really needed help with the nightly routine. Such BS. Well, there's actually a part in this I'm going to read about that too, about the helping with nightly routine stuff. Anders, she should make sure that he took a shower too, though he didn't take any himself, no doubt. All right. Now, this is going to get really hard. I don't know how many times I can say that, so just be prepared. So, these are descriptions of what was in the file, and a lot of it's redacted, but it's still bad. So, on a file name 201-90702, it's a 1 FMEI SWNLG 16R, whatever. It says a description. Video file depicting a prepubescent female resembling what I assume to be Maddie is laying next to Stephan in bed watching cartoons on the television. Stephan is asking Madeline to put his member in her mouth for 3 seconds as he counts. Stephan states that Madeline would not be able to play with the phone unless she did. The next one, that one is real hard for me because, God, like Jesus. Okay. Next one, Stephan is putting his fingers in while Maddie appears to be sleeping. The next one, Stephan is putting it in her mouth while she appears to be sleeping. So a lot of these say she appears to be sleeping. Stephan is putting the member in the mouth while she appears to be sleeping. Stephan is putting the member in the mouth underneath a blanket. Stephan is going all the way, and she's confirmed by a mark on her face or a mark that's seen somewhere in several other photographs. Stephan, member in the back door, the same mark is seen in several other photographs. Okay, I think that's about it for that. Nope, there's 3 more. Hold on. Yeah, it's hard. I think it was just to finish reading this. Okay. Stephan's putting member in mouth, appears to be sleeping. Member in back door, same mark is seen in several other photographs. And member in front door, same mark is seen in several other photographs of Madeline. So I read that to say a lot of times she appears to be sleeping. So again, going back to the sevoflurane, which is why I wanted to read that, and I didn't want to read it, but why I felt it was necessary. They do reference that she's sleeping a lot of times in the photographs. So does he have her drugged? Like, is that a good possibility? Because she appears to be sleeping in most of them. Nanny Goat says she's drugged. Yeah. It's bad. I'm sorry y'all had to listen to that. There was a point though. I mean, because it points to me that she was drugged. I mean, I don't know who's going to sleep through that. But Dusty Pear said, and Jennifer Soto allowed this while not working and being home at the same time. Make this make sense. Arrest Jen Soto. I'm with you, Dusty Pear. I'm with you. That girl says, rest easy, Madeline. We're fighting for your justice. And then Luna said, poor baby. Terrible. Imagine the pain Maddie endured. I'll never believe Jen Soto didn't know. Never in a million years. Yeah. Hey, the real John Doe. The real John Doe said, I believe he drugged her. I think so too. I mean, because I don't know how you sleep through stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then the sevoflurane. I mean, what if he was using it on both of them? Because again, the looking to see if it's going to show up in a drug test, I would reference that to the blood test Jennifer's taken. Because at that point in time, I think that would be the only person that would be worried about a drug test, and it would be to see if it was going to show up in blood work, which I would think it would. Hey, Chrissy knows it all. Who was it? Joseph said, thank you for the gifted membership. That was Eek. She is so sweet. Hey, Teresa. Yeah, Maggie said drugged. No wonder she was tired at school. Yep. The jury does have to look at it. And that's going to be sad. All right, the next one I have is page 48 down here at the bottom. On March 28th. Oh, okay. I know why this is to tell us what specifically Madeline is diagnosed with. Hold on, y'all can't see that. Okay. So it says on March 28th, Judge Bigney signed a search warrant for Madeline's medical records. The warrant was executed, and I was provided her medical records upon execution of the warrant. Upon reviewing Madeline's medical records, it appears that she was diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety disorder. These records were submitted into evidence. And then it says he also signed a search warrant for the Fitbit device that Stephan was wearing during the time he was with Madeline on the 26th. The warrant was sent to Google, who provides the records for the Fitbit. And then on March 29th, I reviewed the case synopsis from the medical examiner's office. Dr. Giles said that the death was caused by strangulation and the manner of the death is homicide. Okay, there's an important phone call here that I'm going to read. That's what's on the thumbnail. And then right here, it's going to talk about the hard drive. I know a lot of you were talking about the hard drive that mysteriously disappeared and was never found. Right here is where it says it was turned in. Me too, Juliet. I don't understand how you could be like that. Yeah, Luna. Yeah. I've thought it's hard to think about that. It is. Teresa said Jen was probably having her liver and kidney functions and a complete blood count tested because of all of her meds. I have to do this once yearly. Yeah, when I was on lithium for bipolar, they had to do it like once. I can't remember. It was once a month or once every 3 months. I was only on it for a short period of time because I was like, this shit makes me sleepy. I can't be taking this. Sub Rosa said, I think Jen is in the rehab drying out because she knows she's going to do some time eventually. I think she needs to do some time. This kind of stuff takes immense planning. Very creepy, and Jennifer allowed it. If Florida doesn't arrest this woman, I will die a little inside, I think. Me and you both, Dusty. Me and you both. Oh, Dusty Pear, good point. Let's say this was discovered while Maddie was still here with us. Jennifer Soto would be in jail. She would. Good point. All right, continuing on. The phone call. This is really interesting. And Cozy, you can let me know what you think about it when I read it. Hold on. On April 10th, 2024, at 14:53, which would have been 2:53, yeah. Stephan calls Chris Stearns using inmate identification 1419688. 12 minutes and 57 seconds into the call, Stephan tells Chris, quote, "You know that I would have never wanted that for her," meaning Madeline. Stephan then says, quote, "I am not sure really that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it. I have never felt anything like that before. It was horrible." Chris tells Stephan that he hopes the truth will come out, and Stephan responds, "Well, yeah," as if he was dodging the statement. This call was downloaded and submitted into evidence.com. What do you think about that?
Yeah. They just don't want to admit fault. If you notice, Jen is very subtly sometimes like low-key blaming Maddie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like, this is my theory. She's low-key blaming Maddie. If you remember, I know I've mentioned other parents before, but like parents that we know covered up probably an accidental death. The Ramseys, the McCanns, right?
Uh-huh.
And like the McCanns, who their daughter was also called Madeline. This was like, how long was that ago? 15 years ago? No, it was a long time. But they had nothing good to say about their child in the interviews that they gave, and they would say, "Oh, she was loud and rambunctious." She's like 3. She's 4. She's a healthy, normal child. They are loud and rambunctious, not in the sense like, oh, she was just like what would you call a really active small child?
Hyper.
She's like really hyper, or she was really like full of life. I think that's how a normal parent that actually loved their child would say it. She's just full of life. She's always doing something. She's loud and rambunctious, like complaining about it. They weren't even sad, or they didn't appear to be sad in the interviews. The mom was a little bit sad sometimes, but the dad was like a rock, Yeah. And then when she was like, oh, she slept like a monkey. She would kick and punch and flail, and she would always forgetting stuff, and she had ADHD, and she was doing this, and I had it like, she had nothing ever good to say about Maddie.
Right.
And the reason I sent her upstairs, sorry, my Massachusetts is creeping back in, upstairs. I had to phase out my accent when I started teaching English, and now it's creeping back in. So like, wicked smart, it's gonna come back. It's gonna creep in. I had to send her upstairs because she I don't want to hear her alarm. She's gonna kick and punch me, and I just want to sleep. Like, she's just complaining at the very least. She's just complaining. I can understand sometimes parents complain about their kids when they're just like, oh, I'm just like, so, but if something bad happens to a person that you love, you forget all of the shit that you complained about. Yeah. You don't think about all the bad stuff they did. All you think about is all the good stuff about them, because you miss them and you want them back. And you don't care if they kicked you in the face when they were asleep. You wish that they were right here in your arms right now. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then he's like, oh, nobody's really guilty. So like, he's not throwing Jen on the bus. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't throw him on the bus. Like, these two are like soulmates. Yep. They're fucking, I'm sorry. They're soulmates. They're two pieces of garbage cut from the same trash cloth. Yeah. That all they care is about themselves, to the, like, if something happened, I don't have any children. I have a cat. She's my child. But like, if I had like a human child and something happened to that child, whoever was the last person with that child, I would blame them forever. Right. I would be like, you weren't watching. You weren't paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would just, she's like, no, she doesn't blame him. And he's not really blaming her. He's like, oh, it wasn't really anyone's fault. It was like a combination of factors. Like, bruh, at least throw her under the bus. Maybe, he's in there for life anyways, but maybe, I'm not saying that. I want him to die. I am very in favor of death penalty. Like, fire old Sparky, let this dude fry. many times. Bring it back, fry him again. Bring it back, fry him again. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Like, this brings out the worst in me. You know, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'll just fry myself if you let me. But you know how, like, sometimes, I mean, you know how law enforcement, they will do like plea deals. You know, if you snitch on someone, you know, you'll lessen the penalty or whatever. Sorry, I'm so worked up. I don't have no words. You know.
Oh no, you're good.
And like, he could have listened, like, oh well, she started it. It was her idea. He doesn't say she started it. He says, well, it wasn't my idea, which is, I mean, kind of low-key blaming someone else, but he doesn't come out right and say,
Yep.
it was her fault. It was her decision. Well, she let me. Well, she suggested it. Well, she told me to take her upstairs in the room. You know what I mean? Those are all things that he could say to blame her. Well, she let it happen. She knew it was happening. Well, she told me to take her upstairs in the room.
Yep.
Nothing. These two, fry them together, tie them up together, and throw gasoline and light. Can I throw the match? Because I'll do it.
Go for it. Hey,
You know,
what's
I'll
up?
put them out and burn them again. Like, dude, I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
Maybe we
I
need to
have
bring
no more-
back we need to bring back fire in the what we call it? Oh, I'm brain farting.
Sparky.
Old Sparky.
No, a witch on her steak. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, burn them at the stake.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, I have no more emotional energy left for any other case. I'm just so involved in this, and I'm so glad.
Yeah.
This is the first time in my life. I mean, not that I've been in this true crime community for very long, but you know, it was more casual before. Like, this is the first time that I see people with all these documents, and I love and breathe. Yeah, like with all these documents, you know, that the law enforcement shares, and I love it, and I love it. You know, I love it because because it's kind of like transparency. Like, look, this is what we've examined. This is what we found. It's good. It's good for the justice system. It's good for us, because if someone accuses you of doing some weird shit and you're innocent, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'll stop talking now.
No, you're good. No, this is you're right. I think this case probably for a lot of people that, you know, maybe like sideline watch true crime stuff are getting more invested in. I was gonna say, for me, probably would have been the Ramsey case, but I was a kid at that time. But as I got older, I got interested in the case, and there's still a lot of weird shadiness in that case. But yeah, I would say Maddie and the Delphi case are two of the current ones where I'm still invested in, especially Delphi. There's just a lot more going on to that situation, especially now if you've seen what the lawyers have been saying. And
speaking of that, I'm going to talk about the news coverage of it, and then in about a week we're going to be able to review an interview of them, but I'm waiting a week out of respect for the content creator to let everybody see it there first, but we are going to go over that in about a week.
Cool. Oh yeah, there's so much going on. I was just talking to my dad about it. He's kind of know a little about it, but I gave him the quick rundown, and even he's still like, well, how can you circumstantially get someone with, let's say, the bullet casing where you found it days after you had the initial crime scene investigation? So how could anyone be convicted of a crime if it'd be like, well, how do we know if that was already not even there when you should have been paying attention the first time around?
Yeah. Lori, I start a comment. It was in response to Lori Green. Heather Wells said, I reckon Maddie and Stephan had watched Sister Act before Jen Soto came home. That's interesting, because I do remember the Sister Act comment, and it is not mentioned here at all. I found that interesting as well.
Was Jen really the only one that mentioned Sister Act, or did Stephan? I don't remember any of the interviews or comments that he made where they're going to supposedly watch that. I always seen Jen mentioning that.
I remember Stephan mentioning it. I think Jen mentions it, but I can't recall if Jen mentions it or not. See, we're having the opposites today.
I was like, I know she said it, and either it was the interviews, I want to say the one after they initially told her they found Maddie's body? So I guess that day when they told her, or was another deposition, the immunity interview? I want to say.
Jen said they both did. Jenny, Jen, by the way, thank you for being a member for 3 months. That was so awesome, and I really appreciate your support, love.
Awesome.
So Jen said they both
and
did.
like, what about the dog? You know, like she says, he came in for the dog leash. He never mentioned that, did he?
I don't think so. Everybody said,
you know.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he's very vague on that morning. He's like, "Oh, we got up and oh my God, we made such good time. We made such that." He mentions, unless I missed something I'm forgetting, but he mentions nothing of that morning. That morning.
Mm-hmm.
All that he says was they left at whatever 7:15 or 7:30. Yeah, 2 hours before school starts. Totally legit. Sure, Jan. Yeah,
and they made the decision to go by McDonald's the night before, when we know that Stephan made that story up so that he could have a reason to leave early and get her body, is what I'm thinking, out of the house, or have time to do it, or whatever.
Yeah,
so
nobody needs 2 hours for McDonald's.
Right. So why are they both coming up with that story from the night before? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Chrissy said, go ahead, love. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, if Chrissy knows it all, said if her pills make her sleep and she took them when she got home at 8:30, why was she still awake at 11? Good point.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was I have to look up her name. I just saw her channel last night. But she was discussing about the hotel situation, and there's a part in some documents that she was able to get over that shows that the time frame where Stephan Stinky, I say his name again, Stinky, left. It was, I can't remember the specific time. I want to say it was either 10 something, either it was at night or was it in the morning. The time frame he was missing, Jen said that she was completely knocked out and didn't know that he left the hotel room. And I didn't know this, but there's a way where they would check the timing when people open doors at this hotel.
Yep.
And it shows at 10 something. I don't remember if it was like in the morning or night. The door opens for about a second. So it's 10:58, and then it closes at 10:59. And she was just basically saying this is something that she was wondering if detectives or investigators have really picked at and said, well, Jen, you said, and I think this is after she did the immunity interview, where it was like, you said that you were completely asleep and didn't know that he left. Well, why is it showing this time frame? The door to the room that you two were staying at open way after that he was asleep, when he was gone.
Right. So I'd have to know I mean, from what it sounds like, I might could answer that from what I remember reading. So he left at like the early hour mornings at like between 3 and 3:45.
Mm-hmm.
Now she says when she wakes up, he's not there. She calls him or tries to figure out where he's at. And he says that, or she either calls him or she assumes that he's at Target. She gets up to walk the dog, and I remember reading that she walks the dog at about 11 and goes back up to the hotel room, and then Stephan comes back shortly after, I do believe. So the door opening at that time could be her going out to walk the dog, but I could be wrong. But that's what I think I remember.
Once I find that video again, the channel, I'll see if I can send the link to you, and then you can just go over. But it was interesting that that was something I never heard of, and it just kind of fit where it was like either she clearly was not asleep during the whole time when he went out, because she went over that the frame, I guess the timing when it shows when he entered their room, I guess to say whatever he had to say, and then he went to go sleep in this other part of the hallway in the hotel. It correlate the time from when he was there and when he said he was asleep, but it was just the time frame where Stephan left. She should have been technically, I guess, still asleep, but then it's like open at a time where she was probably still up.
Well, if she woke up that morning to walk the dog and he wasn't there. And then she says that he went to Target and he went and got Wawa. So, which is like a drink, food, gas station or something. They're saying it's Nietzsche true crime, so that might be where
Yeah, she has a lot of videos where she makes amazing commentary.
It's her.
She
It's
has like
Nietzsche.
points. Yeah, I just discovered her channel, and she makes like really good points. I'm like, whoa, I've heard this 1,000 times, never thought of it. But she also has like all of these like interviews without commentary, also. So
Yes,
people,
that's
like,
her.
can hear
Yep,
again.
that's her. Yep.
She talks
Yeah.
kind of like, she's so calm. She's like my opposite. She talks so calm that I have to put her like real fast so I can hear.
She's is she
know?
Australian or British? I want to say
She's Australian.
Australian.
Nar. But yeah, I love her commentary because she's really good at like these tiny little details and connecting the dots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's just so much information. And like I said, I wish I had that wall that the cops do where they have like all the information with like string connecting.
I know.
Everything. I need one of those.
Me too.
I just don't have time to actually physically go through all this data and like build it myself. You know, like I want to build the case myself.
Right.
But yeah, it's so
it.
clear. You know,
I'm working on it, but it's hard because I homeschool and I do I cook dinner every night. I homeschool the kids in the morning. I try to get stuff together for the class. So I'm working on making it, but it's a lot. It is.
It makes us appreciate how much the cops work. Like, oh, it's taking so damn long. First of all, they have to collect so much evidence and they have to sift through everything. Like, does this actually, I don't even know. I'm not a cop. I'm just guessing, you know? Right. And then they have to like make all the dots connect and they have to sit and think it and read it again and hear it again and think about it and discuss because you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I never thought of that. Whoa, like props to the cops, man. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to read this part again. Basically, I want to tell you what Stephan said. So first he says, you know that I would have never wanted that for her. Which means basically from me, I'm allegedly speculating that he means you know I would have never wanted her to die. And then he says, I'm not really sure that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it. That would tell me that it was definitely an accident. A combination of factors would make me think that, like, maybe she overdosed. I mean, we know that it was strangulation and her hyoid bone was broken, but, like, what's the combination of factors? The drugs and rough things that were happening? Like, there's more than one thing that's happening that contributed to the death. So is it drugs and some kind of filming, some kind of film like y'all were talking about, the snuff stuff, or like what was it, you know? And then he says, I've never felt anything like that before. It was horrible. That would either be his heart breaking or her neck breaking. Like if he was actually the one did it and he felt her neck break. I've never felt like that, anything like that before. It was horrible. Not trying to be graphic, just trying to figure it out. And then
I could see it being both.
Chris says that to Stephan, I hope the truth will come out, and Stephan responds, well, yeah, tells me that he definitely is the one that broke her neck. But what's the combination of factors? Interesting. Okay. So a lot of y'all had talked, what felt horrible? Was it like having to do what he had to do after she was deceased? Did he feel her neck break? And does he mean specifically it felt horrible feeling her neck break? Hey, Harsh Times says my money's on the latter. Right, but the
the other horrible things that he didn't feel horrible. All the abuse for like 4 or 5 years didn't feel horrible. Piece of
exactly. He absolutely is. Okay, the next statement that I've got highlighted, the second paragraph, is going to talk about the hard drive. We were trying to figure that out yesterday. Did the hard drive get turned in? And it states, on April 11th, 2024, I received a message from Chris stating that he had an update regarding this case. I contacted Chris by telephone, who stated he was cleaning out the storage unit he had on Executive Avenue. Chris stated he opened one of the storage bins and located a hard drive that would be normally housed in a desktop computer. In the same storage bin, Chris located a watch that Stephan previously told Chris during a phone call from the Osceola County Jail was in his bedroom. Chris stated Stephan must have gained access to the storage unit when he made the trip to Northport on the 28th of February. I told Chris that I would have detective from Northport Police Department contact him to arrange a time to retrieve the hard drive. Chris previously stated he witnessed Stephan using the desktop computer on the 24th of February, and he never gained access to the residence after leaving to Kissimmee on the 25th. It appears that Stephan had intentionally removed the hard drive from his computer in an attempt to conceal the contents. So I did want to tell you guys that the hard drive was turned in. Okay, and then lastly on this page, I have 51 marked. Basil, somebody was asking for Basil, about Basil. Basil's laying behind me right now, getting some sunlight from the window. Did she scratch his hand? I think so. I think so. Lori said, I've always said when Maddie was missing, the first words that came out of Jen's mouth was lies. As we all know, your memory is fresh, so the police know Jen lied even before she saw the pic. Yeah. Sub Rosa, I love my speculation family too. I love it when you guys are here and we can talk. All right, so 51, this is the last one that I have. And then after this, I don't know, we can just talk, maybe watch a video. I'll see what I can figure out. All right. So I'll just read this whole page because there's a couple places I have highlighted. And these are going to be in reference to some other things. So it says, Will is going to be an officer. Asked Jen if Madeline ever had side effects of the hydroxyzine. And she said if Madeline took the medication later than normal, she would feel sluggish. He asked Jennifer why she let Stephan still stay in the home after they ended their relationship. Jen stated she considers Stephan as one of her best friends. Jennifer said she didn't want to see him revert. She didn't want to see him revert back to his mental health issues like he has had previously.
Boo hoo hoo.
Right.
Oh no, her baby. Like she babies him.
Yeah.
But fuck Madeline.
He's more her child than her child. Like you know,
bizarre.
like he's not her boyfriend. He's just her child. Like it's disgusting.
Now I'm thinking, did they have like some weird fetish relationship? Like, I guess the reverse of a daddy little, a mommy little, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, the daddy little state. Yeah. I don't know. That's creepy. Indie girl, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a good day. She has no other friends, said Jill. You know what? I might play Grish because he's really sweet. What did you say, Bazard? I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying what she said. I'm not surprised by that. It seems like she never really had a social life per se.
Right. Yeah.
Because remember, if she was talking to her friends and dumbass arrived, she would have to like stop talking to her friend because she had to go hang out with him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That is right. Yeah.
He already like literally, but not physically, already like suffocated her before he actually put his hands on her.
Yep.
Because according to her best friend, they were always FaceTiming. Who needs to be FaceTiming all day? For real.
Yeah. It's
you know, like get a life. Like, you know, like even if it's your child, you don't need to be talking to your child all day. You know, and it's not his child.
Exactly.
You know, so right. she had like plans with her friends. She had to cancel because you know Stinky shows up and she has to spend time with him. It's just everything is wrong about this case from every possible angle. I don't know how people can defend this woman.
Yeah, and
there are people. Yeah, that's surprisingly too.
I think the people that defend it are people that think the same way. So other people, you know, because that's why you're defending her.
Mm-hmm.
The excuse I keep hearing is that, oh, she has mental health issues and so much was going on in her life and she was a really good mother. Look at the pictures of them smiling together. I'm like, nah.
Bull crap. No.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say she didn't know when it actually started to happen. Let's say Jen is oblivious and she actually trusts this scumbag, and she's like, oh, I trusted him because he never said anything weird about her body, or he never whatever, no red flags. Let's say that's true, right? Let's speculate. Let's say that, yeah, because some people, they don't, manipulators, they don't show their face right away. They're playing this character. And they can, and some people can play it for longer than others, for, not for very long. Eventually the mask is going to drop. So let's say, yeah, in the beginning, because in the beginning of any relationship, you're not even acting like yourself, because you're just trying to be a perfect person all the time, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to have bad breath in the beginning. You brush your teeth. You make sure you don't. You know what I mean? As you should. You know what I mean? But you're trying to put your best foot forward. So you're like almost not even being your real self, in a sense, because you just want to show your good side. So let's say, yeah, she's like, this guy seems legit. Like he's like a father figure to my daughter. He likes all her games. Yeah. He plays all the toys that she plays, and he's really sweet and whatever, and he never said a word. Let's say that's true. That could be true. But when does it start being a crime? When you know something criminal is happening and you don't tell the cops? Because she knew something happened to Maddie. At least, let's say she didn't know anything before. Let's pretend that she never said anything about Woody Allen. She never made that comment. Let's say that's true, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But at night she doesn't go to her daughter's party, and I know some people can be like, well, maybe she couldn't get a day off. Bruh, she can switch. I don't care.
Or not show up. Yeah. I've done that before. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who would not show up? Oh, because she had to work. Yeah. Yeah, her job is real important. She's a freaking front desk clerk. I'm sorry. I've had that job. Not in a hotel. But you're not a CEO of a company. You're not a doctor who's on call.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But she was trying to get the job, and supposedly Disney only trains at certain times. But I do get what you're saying. I just wanted to put that out there.
Let's pretend they are really jackasses. They're like, no, you got to come on this day, and that's that, or you're fired. Right. Mm-hmm. She could have convinced the family to do the party a different day. She would have been like, look, you guys, exactly. I really can't come on this day. Can y'all just change it to another day or whatever? They had Saturday night. Why didn't do the party Saturday night? Why did you do it Sunday night?
Or Friday.
Her birthday had been on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't work every day. She had 3 days off after this fact, or 4 days off after whatever. She didn't even need that grown-ass man up there to babysit her daughter. So at night, she already missed the party. And we have, right? I don't know if you guys agree with me, but we have serious doubts as to I can't talk. I'm so like fired up. We're not really sure that she saw Maddie that evening, right?
Right. I'm a firm believer now that I don't think she ever did.
Oh, we talked. Yeah, Disney is us. We talked for half an hour. We counted her money. You mean the money that she didn't bring home? That's the money that you counted? Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And she talked about all her presents. You mean the presents that she didn't get because she got almost no presents? She got like one present? Mm-hmm. Oh, right. So right there, lies. So let's say she did it. She didn't see her kid. She just lied because she's trying to be a good mom. And all right, let's say she actually thought Maddie was already asleep. Let's do that, right? Devil's advocate. Okay, in the morning, when did she find out that her, he's like, oh yeah, something happened. Oh, I'm gonna walk the dog. Oh, I'm gonna take Maddie to school. Oh, I need the leash for the dog. And she's like, all right, whatever, do whatever you got to do. This is the first time this guy is taking her to school, and she doesn't at least. How does he know how to get to the school? It's the first time he drove her.
No doubt.
Abella's, I'm going to stop because at the time I didn't let Abella's just gifted.
Yeah, thank you, Abellis. That was super sweet of you to gift 20 memberships. That is so sweet and supportive. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you guys were gifted a membership from Abellis, please tell her thank you. I'll play our clip real quick. Thank you, Abellis. That was so sweet. Thank you so much, Abellis. That was so sweet.
Yeah.
Real quick about what you were saying, I think from the sister and the granddad's interview, they stated that Madeline didn't take her money with her when she ran away. I think that's what they were referencing, because we did kind of debunk that one.
Yeah.
Now the friend said she only got one present, and Jen said they were looking at all her gifts. There are some pictures of some things on her dresser that look like more than one gift, but I don't know. Like maybe she got more later or something, but still, it's a lot with Jen that just doesn't add up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue
And
what
you know, she wanted money maybe to run away, right? Because she kept asking for money. Oh no, Abellis, no, you didn't interrupt me. You know, and she told her friend that she wanted to go run away and build a house in the woods. And I was like, maybe she was thinking of running away because her mom was like, yeah, when you're 18, you're out of the house.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I
she did.
understand that. I understand that parents can get worked up one day that your kid is just being impossible and you say stupid crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, we're not just judging her from one thing that she said or one thing that she did. We're judging her on all of these patterns, on all of these things. Everything she says, all the fake tears she doesn't shed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I completely forgot. I got on the train and I just took off.
all good.
But I had a point. Yeah.
You're fine.
So in the morning, when the cop was like, oh, so did Maddie come in the room and say goodbye when she left for school? And then she gives this weird laugh and she says, I would have hoped that she would have. Now, I'm an English teacher, so paying attention to people's language is very important, right? There's a deception detective. He's a statement analysis specialist. Watch that dude.
Yeah.
Because even where you put like a comma makes sense, right? In language, when you say would, also Chase Hughes, he picks up a lot of like a language too. I even downloaded the pronouns book that he's always talking about. I got to read that. When we use would is a conditional modal verb. It's a conditional because it's something that it's not real. It's always an unreal situation. If I said, what would you do if you won the lottery? Well, you're never going to win the lottery. You don't even play the lottery. How are you going to win? So this is an imaginative, I'm losing my words today, situation. It's an imaginary situation, right? If I won the lottery, I would build a house. I would buy a mansion. Boom. But that's an imaginary situation. So anytime someone says would, did you do this crime? I would never do that. That's not an answer. That's not a negation. That's not a denial. If you say, did you do this? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Boom. That's a confession or a lie, but at least it's a real statement. If you say, did you do this? I would never do that. You're not answering the question. Right. You're saying in an imaginary situation that you wouldn't do this, but I'm saying in this very real material, real situation right here, did you do this? So pay attention when people, especially because we're talking about true crime, but also in your real life. I would never do that. That's not an answer. I would have hoped that she would have done it. That means that she doesn't give a damn if Maddie would actually even say good night or goodbye or nothing, because I would have hoped. That's an imagined situation, not like, well, I mean, she should have said goodbye.
Right.
Or she would have said, she would always say goodbye because, or you know what I mean? Like in all the other situations, she would always come in and say goodbye. So
Potato, you were asleep half the time, so how would you even know anyway?
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
I was like, Potato, you were asleep half the time. How would you know if she came in your room anyway?
Yeah, you know, so like, did she come in and say goodbye? I mean, she could have just said no because I was sleeping. Yay, Maggie May. So, you know what I mean? I would have hoped she would have come. First of all, that's not even grammatically correct, but whatever. You know, like I'll allow it. That's not even grammatically correct. But I would have hoped she would have come in and say goodbye. You could have just said no, man. You could have just been like, no, she didn't come say goodbye at that point. But she doesn't want to be outright and be like, no, I did not see her that morning.
Right.
Because when the cops pressed her on and she said, oh, I misremembered. I said, because it's, you know, I said that I saw her because when I'm quoting Jen here, pretty much word for word, you know, because he said, all right, we asked you if you saw Maddie that morning. And then you said, you didn't, but then in your written statement to the police, you said you saw her. She goes, "Oh, it's because when they told the instructions I got was, what did you write what you saw that day?" So I saw her that morning.
God,
Bullshit.
I hate it when she said that. That's like the dumbest explanation ever.
Yeah, because she's trying to cover for Stephan. Harry said,
Right. Because like I've never written a statement for the cops. Let's say I sit there and I go, "Well, what do I write?" And someone goes, "Write what you saw, write what happened." You go, "Okay, so I got up that morning and Maddie wasn't home."
right. Yeah,
Not,
like,
I saw her in the kitchen. Like, come on, how dumb are you? Like, we know
Yeah.
she's not the brightest crane in the box.
right.
She should have done. She should have done what she said for Stinky. Just get a lawyer. But
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Anyways, I forgot what the whole point of this was, but yeah.
You're good. You're good, honey.
I'm organizing my office, and I had a gin and tonic, and I'm like, woo! I don't know what's going on anymore. But
Okay.
conclusion.
Let me get mine,
She
right?
lied about everything, and even when she's lying, she's giving us information, and she still leaks the truth because we were not made to lie. Humans were not created to lie. That's why it's so hard to lie. You know, your pressure goes up, you start shaking, you start stuttering, you're like, you say stupid shit, you're like, you know what I mean? Because we were not made to lie. So lying goes against our very nature. So when we're like, I'm talking about lying, I'm getting nervous just talking about lying. I'm not even lying. So it's very hard to lie very convincingly. When a person lies very convincingly, they're an actor or they're a sociopath, or maybe the same thing. Who knows? But you know, and she's trying, I think she's like trying to be so careful about lying so she doesn't incriminate him or herself.
Yeah.
And she forgets that she has to show concern for her daughter. She has no brain power left to think that, you know? And one of these experts mentioned something like that about like when you're lying. Oh, what was it? I'm trying to remember. Like when you're trying to lie on a spot and you have to like make up a story, you're using so much of your brain power just for that lie.
Yep.
That like it's hard to control your body, like your body language, because you know, so you will do like your body's like you're leaking. If you're not leaking with your words, you're leaking with your body language. You know, so yes, that's my thing. I will stop and I will let you guys go on.
It's all good, folks.
Yeah, you're good. I don't like, for me, the word verbal leakage, and I know y'all use it a lot. It's weird to me. Like, the word leakage, I just don't like it. It's kind of like the word moist for me. So that's why I say Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah,
because it is. It's like, you know, I think you're thinking of like anal leakage, right? It's disgusting or something. Leaking, right?
Yeah,
I get it. It's a weird word.
Freudian slip.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, because it's not even just a Freudian slip. Because I mean, a Freudian slip is kind of leakage, you know, Rose. But now I got that image in my mind. But like because you're leaking information through everything.
Yeah.
And you can either think of what you're saying, of the lies that you're trying to make, or you think about, should I cross my leg? Should I uncross my leg? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's lying is stressful. That's why they do the lie detector test, because what they're doing is you're measuring if your heart is like spiking. Cognitive load. That's it, Rose. Cognitive overload when you're trying to lie because you have so much to think about. That's it. I'm gonna stop. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I will.
You're fine. You're fine. I'll continue on reading. It says, he then asked Jennifer about Madeline's sleeping habits. Jennifer stated Madeline would sleep with her a majority of the time, and when Stephan began staying there, the three of them would sleep in the same bed. Jennifer stated Madeline never wanted to sleep alone in her bedroom. Jennifer couldn't remember how many times she let Madeline sleep with Stephan alone in his room. Jennifer stated she allowed it because she trusted Stephan and he treated her as his daughter. When Jennifer stated she and Stephan ended their relationship, Madeline had an idea but never spoke about it. Jennifer said she spoke with Stephan about possibly moving back to help him get on his feet, but she didn't know if it was going to be permanent or temporary. Jennifer said she knew Madeline was... When the person asked Jennifer if she knew Madeline was being abused by Stephan prior to the interview at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, she said no. He stated Jennifer texted Madeline's father about not wanting her to be filmed underneath bathroom doors. Jennifer stated she had just heard a story about someone filming in bathrooms on an airplane. Jennifer was asked why Stephan didn't take her car to take Madeline to school, and she said that Stephan was not on her insurance, so she didn't want to take that risk. I had that highlighted because somebody had asked that, and I said, I think it's because she said something about the insurance, but I wasn't sure. So we have located that because somebody did ask why Stephan didn't just take Jen's car to school that day. Continuing on, he asked Jennifer again if she ever saw Madeline on that morning, and she said no. Jennifer stated that she didn't know how she died. I asked Jennifer how many times Stephan came to Kissimmee after he moved out. She said 2 or 3 times. Jennifer also stated bedroom 4 was empty, but there was white colored sheets on his bed, but she didn't know if Stephan used any other blankets. And then down here, I have highlighted that there was 35,000 images of child pornography. It did not appear that Madeline was in any of those images, and the hard drive had not been used since 2020. It did not contain anything of evidentiary value. I don't have it highlighted, but the other thing I was going to reference is that Jen said that she wanted Stephan to come and take care of Madeline that week because if Madeline stayed with her mother, then Jen wouldn't be able to see Madeline as much. So she called Stephan to come that week so that Maddie didn't stay at her grandma's house and so that Jen could be around her more that week. That was the excuse for that. I'm going to pull up Grish and we can watch 1 or 2 of his videos.
For someone that want to spend time with their kid, she couldn't spend more than 20 minutes with her that evening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or see her the next morning and be like, let me get you ready for school so we can hang out.
Right. Yep.
My dipshit born for her help.
Yeah. So I've dropped Grish in the description box. When I play the video, I will try to access this live and drop him in the chat as well. I have talked to him. He's really nice. I don't think he'll strike me for using his videos. He does a really good job with this stuff. His point of view is just amazing.
It is.
I really like his point of view on things. Let's see. We'll watch the Madeline Soto part 1 and part 2. We'll go ahead and watch those, and I'll drop his link in the description or in the comment section. It's already in the description box. If y'all want me to pause so you can talk about something he says, please feel free to let me know, and I will pause it.
Copy that.
Hold on just a minute.
Jennifer, tell me how you feeling right now.
Hold on. I'll back it up. Okay, now these are his thoughts, opinions, and speculations, and this is his hard work, his creation, his content. I just wanted to put that out there. Nobody, we all feel differently. We all feel the same about some things. We feel differently about some things. So I just wanted to share that. But he is a really good creator. Definitely puts a new perspective on stuff, and I really like him.
Jennifer, tell me how you feeling right now.
I feel like I can't breathe. You dropped her off closest.
For Stephan Stearns, that's just a costume, but this is his real costume. Most of you wouldn't know that until someone took photos of him like this. There's not one document, photo, interview with anyone, not even Jennifer or Stephan, that gives you one hint at what Jennifer and Stephan liked about each other the day they met. Jen and Stephan never really liked each other. They liked what the other could provide. The relationship is part of the costume.
We have photos.
Perfect.
So the description that the relationship is part of the costume is so profound. I mean, it really is. Their relationship is part of the facade. Mm-hmm.
He got it down to the point. I love that.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. We have his phone. we were able to get into his phone. And there are some very, very unfortunate graphic pictures of him conducting various sexual acts with. I wish I could tell you this was all a made-up story, but it's not. Did you ever suspect anything like this? No? You okay?
Sorry.
Okay. Can I get you anything?
It says Nickelodeon. Now
Yeah.
y'all know the reference between
Yeah, I was gonna laugh at
Nickelodeon
that.
and Disney. Mm-hmm.
One Dan Schneider.
Yep. I just saw
Mhm.
a documentary about that.
They need to do a lot more on that story and situation. I mean, I like that it's kind of getting brought up more, but it's
Do you
amazing.
think
It's
they will
big.
though?
No, because I mean, it kind of goes with the whole same thing with like Epstein and other. Also, Harvey Weinstein too, where it's like there's clearly predators in the entertainment world that, for whatever reason, it takes decades for that truth to come out.
Yep.
If anyone, I don't know if you have any British fans or followers here, but if they know Jimmy Savile, I think that's how you say his name. He's probably the most infamous case over there in England of a famous celebrity who was probably the most worst child predator in their country's history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's really
haven't-
weird how just Hollywood, it just attracts like the worst creeps.
It
You know,
does.
the worst of the worst. And then like when with the Me Too movement, where all these actresses coming forward, and you know, because it was like, yeah, oh, you want a part in this movie? All right, then, you know, suck my, you know,
Yep.
oh, you want to, yeah, you got to do this. Well, take off your clothes, and then I mean that happens, and they could never talk about it. You know, like when like with the Diddy case, I'm not like really following it, but in the beginning, I heard some people talking like some details about it. But there was this, I guess she's like a sex worker. She used to go to like his freak offs. She was like paid like to go, and she would say that they would have tables of people sitting there. So they were being trafficked, and then like they were like offerings, and then the people that go to these free offs, they could just pick up that person, and there were tables of adults and there were tables of children.
Yep.
And all these famous people that you think, you know, like politicians, presidents, directors, all these important people, you know,
Yep.
that they were involved. So it goes, this is why we don't hear about it. This is why this doesn't get resolved, because it's the power. And how many judges and cops do you think are in it too?
Right.
A lot.
All cops aren't good. There's bad people everywhere, you know, so they infiltrate everything. This is why it's so hard to stop this, because it's like a sex cult, to be honest, you know. Like there's sacrificial stuff, like that stuff is real. People are abused and trafficked, and
I think so.
and yeah, and they lose their lives. Like it's fact. You know, people say like, oh, that's just like conspiracy theory. Like it's not a conspiracy when it's real. I mean, it's not a theory when it's real. You know, that's why these people, this keeps happening, because it's the powerful people. It's not some like Stearns. He's a little fish.
Exactly.
He's a teeny tiny little fish. He goes down, but who's buying his crap? You know, who's running the dark web so people have access to it? You know, who's making apps that can't be tracked, like Telegram? I think he got in trouble too. So people could do whatever they want, and then, you can get tracked. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
Exactly.
So, it's just like one brand,
Right.
you know.
You got it down. You got it exactly down.
Yep.
Maybe some water.
I think I have a pretty good idea of what Jen would want from Stephan by looking in Jen's car. I pay attention to the condition of items that are not of evidentiary value. It's not this medical marijuana bottle from Wisconsin. There's something else in this glove compartment, and the length of time it took.
No, I've got this picture, and I never picked up it was from Wisconsin. Like, that's interesting. I don't know if that's what it means, but I mean, that's interesting that he picked that up.
Jen Soto, to answer this question from the detectives, told me more about the item in the glove compartment.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car? Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about.
Right.
I know
I'm trying to think of what you can say.
Mm-hmm.
I remember late in the like.
Y'all, we're at 30 seconds right now.
I know.
And she still can't. Because she don't want to tell them what they actually talk about.
Yeah, she reminds me of that video of Ashton Kutcher when someone was interviewing him because like he was like buddies with P. Diddy, and he's like, oh, so what did you guys like? Oh, he's like, oh, I have so many stories, and he's like, oh, there's this one story. Oh no, I can't tell that one.
Tell that.
And then there was this other time. Oh yeah, I can't talk about that either.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
When you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad, or we called his dad, I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, we need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer. I feel like they're focusing on the wrong person. And he kept saying the same thing. He kept repeating what I was repeating.
Jennifer, the police didn't ask you that because they wanted to know what you and Stephan were talking about. They asked you that question because they saw you do something that made them.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Because I don't want to forget. When she said, he just kept repeating what I kept saying. So who came up with the story? You see, this is what we mean by like leakage. She's like, I don't know, like even when you're lying, you're still telling the truth. You just got to listen to it a bunch of times and have a bunch of people listen to it because everybody picks up on something different. So he just kept repeating what I kept saying. So what does this make me think of? Okay, let's say you were going to take her to McDonald's. Right, I'm going to take her to McDonald's. And then you were going to say that you took her to school. Right, I took her to school. In my mind, I always felt like he was the one that came up with the story. I don't know. I could be wrong. This is, because when she was like, we took her to school. Oh, no, I mean, he took her to school. We took her to school. We dropped her off. That could have been her. I mean, why not? Yeah. And you know how in the church camera, you can kind of terrible quality kind of pick up someone. What if she was in the car? So she's not even lying. She was in the car dressed up like a little girl. I mean, she's like short and squat. She's kind of like teen, like small child size. She's not a huge woman, like height wise. You know what I mean? What if, that was a story? Because the camera's going to pick up. So you just sit there and then you just walk off into the sunset and boom, problem solved. Maddie's just disappeared off the face of the earth, evaporated. Very telling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brenda said, don't forget that she had the next 2 days off. Like, she could have got up and went to McDonald's. Like, I think it was Lori said, if they wanted to catch up, she could have got up and went to McDonald's with them. Hold on, let me read the actual comment. It was a really good one. Donna said it. She said, since Jen missed the party, why didn't she just suggest they all go to McDonald's before school so they could catch up? McDonald's was a last-minute excuse for Jen Soto and Stephan Stearns.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Them think that the most important thing at that moment was not finding your daughter. What I'm highlighting in red here are the sides of the glove compartment. The part in yellow of the Ziploc bag is directly in the center, Now it's all crinkled up and damaged because you, Jennifer, slammed it shut because you were panicking when the cops approached you. You want to know what causes a sense of urgency in Jennifer? Right there. It's redacted. Well, let's look at the CSI's thumb. The shadow of the angle indicates the light source's direction. At the bottom of the redaction, you can see just the edge of the bottle. The amber color on the CSI's glove with the curved edge matches the light's angle, suggesting it comes from the bottom of the bottle. This light must pass through the side of the bottle first, indicating that the pharmacy label has been removed. I'll probably sound really crazy itemizing shit like this for y'all, but this is light work.
Like, he's a whole CSI technician himself.
Pretty much.
Anyway, within the amber light is a rectangular shadow. From the curvature of the bottle, the angle of the light, it's a 4x1 rectangle. And that's a 2 milligram bar of alprolizam or Xanax, and it's most likely counterfeit. Jennifer Soto and Stephan Stearns were never in an actual relationship. It was a depraved codependency. Albeit through indirect terms, they told you exactly what the arrangement was, which would mean, at the very least, Jennifer Soto is not this blindsided mother that she portrays herself to be.
Mm-hmm.
Who does this
I'd
make
like
you
to
think
go over
of?
the
It's
initial
Anthony.
police body cam footage from when Madeline
You
Soto.
think so?
I lived in Florida. We called them Xannies. I had a friend who used to like eat Xannies like candy. And, you know, she liked to abuse pills and like anything that could be abused. And she would like tell me about it. And I was like, really? I would never even think about it. And I hate taking medication even when I need it. And I lived like close to that area and we called them Xannies. So when Casey Anthony's like Zanny the nanny, I'm like, Xanax, you mean? You were drugging your child.
Pretty much.
You know? And maybe she was taking it and maybe she was slipping Maddie some. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in Florida, oh yeah, they have those pain specialist doctors.
Right.
Bro, you could go to like, so like my back hurts, you pay for an MRI, you pay like $300 for a crappy MRI, you go there and you get a prescription for like, you know, Oxy and like all that crap that people just eat like candy. It's terrible.
Yeah, I heard in Florida it's a occurrence with investigations at facilities like that because people just misuse it all the time and get, you know, all these drugs. Counterfeit. I guess they're technically counterfeit drugs then.
Yeah, they make a lot of counterfeit them counterfeit Xanax bars and stuff. It could be. She could have been prescribed it. I don't know. I don't know what all her medications were. I don't know if they would prescribe it with medical marijuana though, if that's what she got. Bogart's been a member for a month and says, thanks for your channel. Love it. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are what makes my channel great. I know a lot of you say thank you, but you guys make this place great because I could talk to myself for days at a time, but it's nothing without you guys here. Thank you guys for being here. Okay.
Was first reported missing on February 26th of 2024. I'm sure most of you who have been following the Madeline Soto case have watched this footage 100 times on several different platforms. I'm going to play the original clip. It's just 3 minutes and 19 seconds long, but instead of watching it like you did the other times, just observe what's going on. Don't focus on one person or two people.
They said it looked like 5 or 6 kids at the park. All right, give me a second, bro. Hey, go ahead. Let me finish up with this.
Are you able to pick up call 931, please?
I'm currently working possible signal leak. Can I hold off on that?
Is that from the other one?
26. course. Do they speak English?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
This is mom.
This is mom? Okay. Hi there.
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
Nanny.
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
Police people are still on scene. Let's put that out. Any possible location, how long?
13.
I'm trying to get there right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick.
Look how he's holding his hand right here. Like it's not even in his pocket. I mean, he's nervous as shit. She looks nervous as shit too. Excuse me for cussing.
No. You're right.
And just trying to be casual, like, hey there, who wants to be casual? I would be like, I would run to the cop, grab him by the collar, and be like, my daughter is missing. We have to find her.
Yeah.
You know? And like I just want to mention again the language that she uses. She uses the passive voice. She was dropped off at school. When we use passive voice, she's saying something was done instead of this person did something, right? Passive voice is using language when the person that does the action, I mean, it doesn't have to be a person, it could be something else, but like the person that does the action, the agent, is either unknown, like someone stole my car. You just say my car was stolen because like someone, I don't know. Or it's obvious who does the action. Where instead of saying like a thief stole my car, like duh. You know, like when the expression that we use like all the time, like I was born, that's passive voice because what you're saying is I was born on this date in this place by my mother, but because it's your mom, whoever she is, she's gonna be your mom. So it's obvious, so we don't have to say it, you know, or something like like English is spoken, yeah, because you don't say the people speak English. So that's from a grammatical point of view. So then she says she was dropped off at school.
Yeah.
And you know, and of course, sometimes we can say weird shit that can be misconstrued in a different way, right? But yeah, and so exactly. My daughter is missing. This is the point. Not she was dropped off at school. Thank you, Teresa. Or also, I dropped her to school. I took her to school. I went to pick her up. She's not there. You know what I mean? She was dropped off at school. And then in her I think it was her first or her second TV interview when Maddie was missing, where she doesn't even mention Maddie's name or even show her photo. How are we supposed to find this missing child? We don't even know her name or what she looks like. She says, she was last seen. What? That's passive voice. Not, she was wearing a blue shirt and black jeans, whatever, right? Just an example. That's the active voice. She was wearing Crocs and a sweater and jeans and whatever. No, she was last seen by who? By who? Who saw her last? So, passive voice is used a lot in lying because, one, you're not saying who's doing the action, and it's also a way of distancing yourself. She was dropped off by who? By this knucklehead standing right here with this rag of a what kind of a baseball hat is that? It looks like a rag on his head. She could have said he took her to school. I went to pick her up and she wasn't there. She could have said like that, not even in an accusatory tone. Just been like, we took her to school, she wasn't there. I went to pick her up, or he took her to school. I went to pick her up, she wasn't there. But you see, she was dropped off. She didn't make it.
Yeah.
She didn't make it. Almost sounds like she's blaming Maddie. Well, I don't know. We took her to school, but somehow she didn't show up at school.
Right. It's
so, think about even the word, think about even the words that people say. Analyze it. Because that is like really telling. And I'll shut up now.
You're good.
I love it.
Yeah, Veronica, you should be very precise. Because if I was her, I would be hyperventilating. Because when I can't find my cat, my mom has to talk me down. She's like, it's okay. We'll find her in 3 seconds because my cat likes to hide and she won't even answer when I call her name. 3 seconds, I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, my cat's missing. I lost her. She's been missing for 12 hours at this point. When a cop show up, Maddie's been quote unquote missing for 12 hours. Mm-hmm. She's like, hey there. And she looks guilty. She looks like real guilty. She's like, hey there. Who says that? She looks like deer in headlights. Hey there. No, the cops come up to you or you call 911. What do you say? The most important information. My daughter is missing. I can't find her.
Right.
not go into this whole spiel. She's going on the script. Oh, so we
Right.
found this ransom note that's like 4.5 pages long, and it says SBTC victory. Really? What actually happened in your house? You know what I mean? I'm quoting the Ramseys there. So
Yeah.
pay attention, like when guilty parties, they're talking in circles, they're using passive voice, they're distancing themselves, they're low-key blaming the person sometimes. They don't want to take any culpability for this.
Right. Yep. I agree. Interesting.
Pick her up from school today, and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline.
After the whole spiel, she says the girl's name.
Madeli. Last name?
Soto. S-O-T-O.
S-O-T-O?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd, 2011.
February 27th, 2000?
22nd.
Oh, sorry. 22nd,
2011.
2011.
Just had her 13th birthday.
13.
Of course, he had to say that.
Madeline Soto, age 13.
He just had to say that. Oh, she's just turned 13.
I'm just talking away. I am
No, I
just
was like,
talking
what
away.
happened?
I
I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I was muted. It's interesting to see his demeanor, knowing how guilty he is, and then to see
Right.
Jen. I mean, she looks so devious right there. None of the family's coming around him because they don't like Stephan. It's just.
But yeah, just him bringing that comment about her birthday, that's typical, like, trying to seem like, oh, everything was fine, and, this is happening now.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I looked back in the rearview mirror and she was rustling through her bag, like looking for her headphones. Like, what?
Right, yeah.
She said no twice to McDonald's, but she had a pastry. Rah. Like, and then I hate it when the cop is asking information, like how tall she was and how much she weighed. And Jen is like 110 pounds. And he's like, 110, 111, 112. Like, he always has to butt in with some little freaking detail to, like, you know what I mean? It makes me angry.
Same here.
Yep. Me too.
What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black
Right
shorts.
there.
Black shorts?
Yep.
Black shorts. All right. Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
She doesn't know where they live. Okay.
I asked all of them.
Okay. Is this like, does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friend's house? Any places that like she likes to hang out?
Typically,
no.
Not typically?
No.
Okay.
Just a quick heads up. I removed a lot of the background noise so we can focus on what you need to focus on.
Are you able to pick up call 931, please?
Obviously, this is from the perspective of a police officer. My experience is being the car that I'm pointing out here, looking on my rear view, wondering why this police officer just followed me in here.
I'm currently working possible signal lake. Can I hold off on that?
This person yanked their car into the spot with no turn signal, slammed on the brakes, and all the doors flung open. That maneuver is called pull up and hop out. and that is something that people do not want to do in the presence of police.
They pulled up and hopped right on out. Hey, JPL.
Let's see who's in this car.
Like I know.
Male, maybe around 5'8", dark blue or black shirt tucked in the cargo pants with a black belt.
$26.
And we see the driver. This is the cousin you don't know, but you know about.
Right.
He doesn't have a job, but he's always on call to put in work.
Mhm.
What he's wearing is the proper uniform. I know this is blurry, but it looks like he has more than one t-shirt on. He also has on baggy basketball shorts, and they are purple and black. Now look at where his hands are. It looks like he's pulling up his shorts, but where he'd be pulling up his shorts is higher than his shorts waistband. Now look at his left hand. His thumb and index finger have a considerable space between them. There's something taking up that space. And see where his right pocket is? There is a bulge on the right side all the way over to the left side. That's a pair of sweatpants under the shorts. The reason for the layered clothing is so if he does something, he won't be easily identified. He can simply remove the basketball shorts and t-shirt quickly, roll down his sweatpants, and now he's got a completely different outfit on. Now look at his posture. This person is clearly mad, but what does he do? After you, sir. So if we saw it, the cop saw it. If the cop didn't react, it's because he wasn't surprised by their actions. He knows who they are. He knows why they're mad, because they gave him the scoop before he talked to Jen.
See, I never picked up on that. And it's like, you know, he picked up on some things that I never even paid attention to. That's why I like his channel so much and his perspective. Wow.
Wait, is this from that? I thought he was using this as an example from another situation. This is right there with the.
That's one of
right
her cousins, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, right when the police are about to walk in.
Of course. Do they speak English?
And the purple shirt is Jen's sister. To her right, sitting on the couch, are two of Jen's other sisters. There's a lot more going on in this clip than just what Jen and Stephan are saying to the police officer. If you notice, all the people that are in this room are standing far away from Jen and Stephan. Also, remember that Jen is Puerto Rican, and in Puerto Rican culture, quiet means loud. Their reactions are based on what Jen is doing and saying, and it's easier to see how they're reacting based on how and where they look when Jen does certain things.
Okay. Hi there.
Not including Jen and Stephan and the police officer, there are 5 people in this room. Here we have Stephan Stearns and Jennifer Soto attempting to explain to the police officer that her daughter Madeline is missing. Now, this is difficult for Jen because she's in a room full of people that know when she's lying. So this is why this footage is way more important than the other footage that you've seen and heard, because these are the people that know Jen for who she really is.
Do you want to go out?
Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning.
You notice the person in the little office switch seats with another person. So the second person is conveying information most likely to the people outside.
They're coming back.
But never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry.
The cop puts Jennifer's story time on hold, and during this time is a very important moment. Jen receives a call on her cell phone, and you'll see her reaction to that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Who could that possibly be to cause Jen to react like that?
Another kid, or we have a kid?
Now, he's got 2 videos out. He's supposed to have a part 3 coming, so we'll watch 1 and 2, and then, like I said, make sure you subscribe to him and you become a member, or you subscribe to his channel, so when part 3 comes out, you'll be the first to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait for part 3.
Me either. I'm super excited.
Because I think he's good. I'm trying to remember how we'll see part 2 again, because I know in part 2 he mentioned something like really important that I've been wondering between, I think, Stephan and Jen's relationship, but I'll wait for the second video.
Yeah. Chrissy said she is so gross, and she said, look at her mug. Look at her right now. Look at that face.
Maybe I should use it my screenshot. I might do that.
Lordy.
Looking for the people in the room who knows Jen for who she really is saw her pass off the phone like that to Stephan.
Cozy. Hey, Francis.
Hey, Tyler, it's Stephan. They know who Tyler is. So why would Jen pass off the phone like that to Stephan when she knew Tyler was calling? Now look how Jen's sisters react to that. Then someone at Jen's right says something under their breath that caught Jen's attention. And the mask slips off. This is the real Jennifer Soto. This is who she really is.
Bada bing, maybe. I don't know. I think it's like them jeggings. Yeah, to be fair, I think he put a filter on her to make her look a little bit older. I could be wrong, but I was like,
It brought back Walking Dead early season vibes for me. So I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just
I
being
like him,
jealous because you can't help if you are born ugly or pretty, right? You know what I mean? Like, she actually looked prettier when she was kind of like chubbier after she lost a lot of weight. She got that like saggy look that usually happens when people do like the stomach operation, right? The bariatric surgeries. And I feel bad for her, because it's not her fault. And she looked cuter when she was younger and even kind of like chubbier. But where it's not because of the physical, because she has some pictures that people keep like showing in the videos where she's like got her makeup done and she had like purple hair. I'm like, dang, she looked really pretty there. She's like, she really did. We're looking at her head of her soul right there. That's why she's ugly. Mm-hmm. That's why he's heinous. That's why she's heinous. Because if you look at Stinky, and don't take this the wrong way, I'm not saying I'm attracted to him, but I can see where some people would think he's good looking.
Right.
He's like a mid. He's a mid.
He's just like a regular guy who's kind of cute. But then when you know all the crap that he has done, this, like someone's physical beauty, it really is only skin deep. You're like, oh, what a gorgeous person, he or she, what a beautiful person. 2 seconds later, you know they've done something terrible. Look, that's why she's ugly. Not because she looks a certain way, her body, her shape, whatever. No. You know what I mean? That's not why she's ugly. It's because of these weird, like she's lying with her face. She's showing no concern. We're disgusted by what she's done to her daughter, what she's allowed to happen.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
so I don't people to think that like we're like fat phobic or we just hate people.
Oh,
No,
No.
we don't. It's not about her size, her shape, whatever. Because some of those pictures, she was real pretty. But look at her. Look at her reaction. You can see the nerves. You can see her. You know, it's like
Squinting and
beauty's
everything.
in deep, and we're seeing her soul. We're seeing her lack of character here. We're
Mhm.
seeing her not give a damn about anybody else, and all she cares about is pills and sleep and pills and sleep.
Yeah. I think it was Veronica. Yeah, Veronica said just a minute ago, that's the same outfit that she wears in the video interview with the cops.
It is. Yep.
I didn't notice that before. That's
It's always like a black hoodie and a black bottom.
Yeah, the jeggings. Somebody said tights. I think it's like them jeggings, them jogging pants things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dusty pair. I think, unfortunately, that's a possibility. Stephan gave her pills and Jen gave Stephan Madeline. Titanium I Am came in. A few other people. I wanted to say hey to y'all. It's good to see y'all.
Good. People are still on scene. Let's put that out in the hospital location. How
I don't know why, but these still shots make her look like she's like mentally challenged too.
Make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today, and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school. I got a notice, an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline.
So,
Madeline.
Madeline. Last name?
Soto. SOTO.
SOTO?
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd.
The woman who just walked out, the hand gesture she just did kind of means, get me up to speed on what's going on.
2011.
February 27, 2000.
This is Yolanda Zambrano. She is Jennifer Soto's mother and Madeline Soto's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
22nd.
Oh, sorry. 22nd.
2011.
hey, Emma.
She gets a text from someone who's in the room, and she tells them to come here.
13.
Who could it possibly be? Jen's own sister. Watch this from Jen's perspective. She's talking to the police officer, and her sister is walking up to her mother, updating her on what's going on with what Jen and Stephan have been saying to the police the whole time. And she's doing it right behind Jen in Spanish and in English with the intent of them hearing her.
What's the name of the single aid?
Madeline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get a clothing description now. What was she last seen wearing?
People hit my call 931.
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White cross.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts.
Yeah.
Black shorts. Okay. Black shorts. All right.
Right there, she corrects him knowing that Stephan's the last one to have seen her. Why?
Mm-hmm.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts.
Yeah.
Black shorts. Okay.
No.
She was wearing pants, by the way. In the beginning of this live, I read to you what she was wearing when they found her.
Looking too good for Jen, is it?
Black shorts.
Yeah, blue jeans, the green hoodie, and white socks that didn't have any dirt on the bottom.
All right. Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
She doesn't know where they live. Okay.
I asked all of them.
Okay. Is this like, does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friends?
You hear what Jen's sister just said to their mother?
Okay. Is this
¿Cuánto otro niño está a las 8:30? How many other kids are there at 8:30?
is this
That's obviously in response to Stephan saying that he dropped Madeline off at 8:30 next to that church. I feel as though I have a plausible theory as to the level of culpability that Jen plays in her daughter Madeline's death. I'll be back with part 2 as soon as possible.
All right, we have part 2. Part 3 is the one we're waiting on. Oh,
That's
here
a
we
hell
go.
of
Part
a
2.
I would say that was a hell of a ending for the sister part.
Yeah, he does a good job with that, with like the way he ends them and stuff.
Coming here to Hidden True Crime, to sharing your side of the story and what is going on in your hearts.
So we just went over that yesterday. I didn't see, it's been a minute since I've seen both of these. So we'll see what he says.
And in your minds. And so with that, why don't we start honestly with sharing what I think many people might be wondering. Why are you choosing to do an interview today?
Hey, Pamela.
Well, we've had first of all, you're thrusted into a limelight that you would never expected to experience in your entire life. It's a lot of mischaracterizing us and just a lot of speculation and conjecture. So anyway,
the reason we're doing this today, Lauren and John, is because with the docket dump that went out there, we no longer feel constrained to keep silent and let people keep castigating us and dragging us through the muck for no reason, using lies, conjectures, embroidering facts that they do have, making up facts that they don't. It's become a very incestuous snake pit of lies, innuendo, and just
Stephan's parents appearing on Hidden True Crime is a direct result of their KPD interview. Shout out to Grizzly for the footage.
So we can do it one of two ways. I can just give you guys the floor and you can let us know what their dynamic was, or I can do it question and answer wise, whatever's more comfortable for you.
Well, if you do
Veronica said when she described what Maddie was wearing that morning and perfectly described something she never saw, it's 100% deceitful, not misremembering crap. Yeah. Deb's face did look scary, Matilda. Yeah, I'm glad he got this interview from Grizzly. I'm trying to get some interviews to him to get him to like remove the background noise and see if like maybe he could put them out on his video and I could cover them, because there's a couple I have and I don't know how to do that stuff. He's really good at it.
do it question and answer wise, you'll get the answers that you wanted. If you let us sit here and ramble on for half an hour, you may not get what you want. You still have to ask the question.
Fair enough for me.
We can fill in the gaps.
Yes.
All right. So, any idea how long Stephan and Jen have been in a relationship?
7 years.
7 years.
7 to 8 years, somewhere there.
Okay. And was it constant throughout those 7 and 8 years, or on and off, or?
They were friends first, close friends first, and then it evolved into a romantic relationship.
Those two people in the picture are Chris and Deborah Stearns when they were younger.
I think probably the first 18 months was just friendship, and then it changed from there. And no, we did not like the relationship.
Why not?
Didn't prove it.
No.
What?
She was bad influence on it because of her
drugs.
Well, drugs plus I think she was taking medications for depression, anxiety, what have you, and I just didn't feel that she was going to be a good influence for him.
She's bipolar. She's bisexual. She's a drug addict. She had a young child. The family was disapproving, and
quick note, Jen and Stephan didn't start as close friends. They met as co-workers for Eco Homes a company that Stephan's dad owned. The reason why they know the timeline so well is because they hired Jen Soto.
Bada Bing says, was the girl found in black shorts? No, ma'am. Or no. I don't know if you're male or female, but no, we talk about that in the beginning of this live. I go over what she was found wearing. She was actually found wearing the jeans, but Jen states, corrects Stephan when he says she's wearing jeans and says black shorts, and also had stated that she saw her that morning, knowing damn well that she didn't. The black shorts, like Titanium I Am said, the black shorts were found under the bed. And we talked about that too a little bit. I don't know if I read that part, but it is where I was reading what specifically they pulled as evidentiary value from the house. Sub Rosa, they are telling half-truths.
They don't want to talk about that because all that disapproval talk goes right out the window because you're really the matchmaker. The hubris is next level. Could you imagine how they were speaking to people prior to their son getting arrested? With these two interviews being very different, it's easier to tell how the Sterns fuck with the language. Stephan's parents appearing on Hidden True Crime is a direct result of their interview that they had with the Kissimmee Police Department. The KPD's intended role for Stephan's parents was only to provide them useful information for their investigation. The intent of Stephan's parents was quite different. They're trying to steer the investigation towards Jen Soto by trying to make their son seem less culpable. They were hoping that just the public's awareness of their cooperation would lessen the chances of their reputation being destroyed. This is how Stephan's parents fuck with the language in order to do that. First, they get a baseline of their immediate audience, which in this case would be the KPD detectives. Next, they find true attributes of their target person, which would be Jen Soto, that they believe that their immediate audience would accept as negative on their own. That's mainly to avoid having to explain or give specific examples of why that trait is negative.
See, I love these breakdowns. Like, it makes it a lot easier to understand and roll with. JPL said, in my opinion, mom and dad know what a deviant, despicable, non-human they produced. Fictitious in so many ways. I think he saw pictures on his son's hard drive. Stephan Stern's mom tries to blame a young girl. Yeah. And real quick, Jennifer Hoff said, how could Stink not realize he had one crock and not seem to think his story's grabbing his story's gonna be bullshit, that she got out of the car for school with one shoe as the other one was at home. He had to know. Unless he forgot that shoe by accident, but I don't know how you just threw away one unless he was moving real quick and thought he got both in the bag. But I agree. Against All Logic said the mom has been covering up for Stephan Stern's his whole life. Absolutely.
Then they go on to say things like drugs, she's bisexual, she's bipolar. For their immediate audience, that tactic worked, but you can't say those things to everybody. And they found out when their interview ended up on YouTube. They were fully aware that they were being recorded by a public official, but they're mad at the public for their reaction when their interview becomes public record. Like, who do these people think they are? Then they go on Hidden True Crime to direct their anger toward the public and basically do the exact same thing. Then they talk about being constrained and castigated and conjecture, and I'm losing my voice right now, and I really don't want to spend my voice on quoting her.
Never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't. I was oblivious to everything. 4 years?
Minimum. That's just how far back the cloud goes. I find it hard to believe for me that you were so worried about how many pills she took at night, but not where she slept or what relationship she was. Is interest in her.
I thought we were all safe. I thought because and that he hadn't shown me anything so far. Like, everything seems fine. Like, he treated her like
like he treats you?
Bam.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? Whether or not that's what you felt, does that make sense? People having lawyers is their constitutional right. That is a thing that everybody is afforded. But for somebody who's going through what you are going through, to offer him a lawyer leads me to believe that there may have been a conversation, there may have been knowledge, or there may have been some inclination that you had, whether it be his involvement, her location, or something to where in your mind there's guilt.
I promise you, like,
Because you offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know. That was still me under the assumption that I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her.
I mean, she's just blatantly lying, trying to cover that shit up, come up with a good excuse. It's ridiculous.
And nothing sounds plausible because it ain't.
Right. Exactly.
You know? Oh, I thought we were all the same. What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's too bad. You know, like I said, if you're interrogating someone, you have to be very in the moment and know exactly what you want to ask, because that you have to lead the conversation to get the information that you need. And it's impossible for a human being to remember all the information. And then, like, if you're in the moment, you know what I mean? You can't watch it's hard to be reading the person and thinking of what they're saying, thinking of what to ask. But I wish it could have been like, oh, you thought you were all the same? What does that mean?
Right.
I want to know, you know? And I'm not criticizing the cop. I'm just like, this guy was amazing. Like, I hope he has a YouTube channel. We can go over there and just kind of throw confetti at him, because he was amazing.
Yeah, he was. And I mean,
You know?
again, like you're saying, what does that mean? I thought we were all the same. So you thought that Madeline and you were both with Stephan? You thought Madeline and you were both Stephan's best friend? Like, what does that mean?
Right.
You were all the same.
Yeah. Because she keeps trying to paint them like this happy little family, you know, like, you're not sleeping with this guy. He's not moving out at first. He's sleeping upstairs. He's not paying rent. He doesn't buy food. He eats your food. He hangs out in the living room, which is the only place your daughter has, because she doesn't even have a room. And then he takes her up. I mean, you know what I mean? I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over again, and I'm sorry, but it's because, like, can she hear herself?
Right.
Can she hear the shit that's coming out? I'm sorry, that's coming out of her mouth. Can she hear the words that she's saying?
Right. Makes no sense.
And she's scrambling so hard, which is why she's not making any sense. I promise you. You promised me what? You promised me that you're going to help, and tell the truth. Say what happened. Right. Look, this was going on. It got out of control. It was an accident. You know, she died, you know, and I just didn't, I mean.
Yeah. Jennifer said she had a hunch, I know it, but she didn't want to admit it. Maybe cute at first, but she knew something's up and didn't want to look like a bad mom, so she ignored it. Kalisa said, sometimes I truly wonder if Jen had let Stephan Stearns gaslight her so much and literally believes he says and not what he says and not her own bad memory, and now desperately trying to make it work in her brain, but the lies. I mean, again, it's possible. Both of these speculations are possible.
Yeah. You know, like I said before, maybe she didn't know right away when it started exactly, but eventually, come on. Yeah. You know, and I know she was unconscious for most of the time because she wasn't working. You know, I know that, but like, come on. You don't notice weird, like, women pick up on that stuff. You're with a guy and you're like, did you just look at that? We know. We have 360 vision. You see out the parents too, right? Like moms, like they got eyes in the back of their head. You see that stuff. Where is her instinct to protect? You know? Oh, they kept begging for sleepovers. Who's they? Was it actually Maddie? Because Maddie might have been like, oh, come on, Mom, let's watch this. Let us watch a movie. You know what I mean? Like we mentioned the other day, like, no, you can watch a movie right here, or no, it's bedtime. Oh, sure, but just this once. Just this time. And then she goes, and then when the cop asks her, how often was this going on? She goes, oh, it depends on what we all had going on. Well, first of all, you don't have a job, so you got nothing going on. Stearns doesn't have a job. He's got nothing going on. Maddie has school.
Yep.
So what all? And then if you like, she said something else too that kind of makes you believe that this happened every night, or every school night at least, you know. So I just can't with this woman.
I can't.
She's
either.
Infuriating.
We're feeding Inspector BS the carrots, so he should be good now. I've thrown a bunch of carrots up there. Thank y'all for dropping carrots so that he could eat. He should be good now. I was listening to you, love. They were just playing around. I can't. There's no way as a mother you were that oblivious. I'm with you.
You guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her,
I'm sorry, love. Go ahead.
Oh no! Someone said about the roommate here, and then someone else had mentioned earlier about the roommates. Like, did they not hear anything? I mean, if the girl's unconscious and he's not exactly like groaning very loud, you know, they can be kind of quiet. You know what I mean? Disgusting. But
yeah,
one of those women didn't speak very good English, and I'm not judging her. We're just speculating. Maybe she's not legal in the country. You can't.
We gotta stop that though. We can't.
No,
we gotta wait. We can't do that.
I was going to say, like, if the roommates, like, why didn't they? How, like, maybe they heard something or they could have done something. You know, I'm just saying, like, in a case where maybe they didn't say anything because they wouldn't have someplace to live.
Okay, I can understand.
That's it. I'm not like, you know, I'm not talking about like that. I'm not getting into politics. I'm just saying, like, maybe because they did mention to Jen, like, hey, isn't this weird? She's like, no, it's okay. Just nothing to see here. Maybe they didn't push the envelope because, like, they wouldn't have someplace else to live. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I'm just saying that. I'm not talking about politics or yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I think at one point you guys interviewed me, and when you guys showed me the picture of her, I believed the sexual stuff, but I didn't want to believe that he had done anything evil to her. I'm like, no, what if he did this stuff fine, but what if she's still missing
That was my reaction too.
Right? He's like, what the fuck did this bitch just say?
Well, okay, the molesting stuff is fine, whatever, but I don't think he murdered her.
Right. Fucking insane.
Ugh.
It's ridiculous. And that's the issue with her, right? Like, who the fuck says that? Goodness.
Someone in her own little world. She believes her world is the whatever perfect or, you know, whatever. And it's like anyone else that has some other opinion, she doesn't care, or she'll try to act like it's normal. Like when he was talking about those arrangement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Remember, Jen and Stephan started off as co-workers. Then they became friends, and they worked for the company that Stephan's dad owned. In part one.
What'd you say, love?
I love these still shots that he does of mostly her. It's just hilarious. I like dark humor, so it's like it's just funny seeing this weirdo of a woman being made fun of.
Yeah, I like the way he puts his videos together too. He does a really good job of it. I wish I could edit like that.
Same.
When I told you that these two Stings were never in a real relationship, I don't care what Stephan's parents said. Jen tells you the reality of the situation if you listen closely.
So what did you meet Steve or Stephan?
I met Stephan in 2017. We both worked for Eco Homes a real estate company. I did appointments, and he worked in the office doing like warranty work. We met as coworkers. We became really good friends. We were best friends for like a year. And then eventually I asked him if he wanted to hook up, and he said, sure.
Like what?
And yeah.
I asked him if he wanted to hook up. Like, not, I asked him if he wanted to go out on a date. He asked me if he wanted to go out on a date. We started seeing each other. It's just, nope. I asked him if he wanted to hook up. Like, you're going to wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
It's so nonchalant. Like, oh, sure, whatever.
Right. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You said 17, 18. Did you live in Orlando, Kissimmee? Where were you guys staying then?
Kissimmee.
And did you guys live together in 17?
He technically lived at his parents' house, but he was staying at my house all the time.
Okay. Same house you're in now or a different house?
Wait, I take it back. In 2017, he wasn't staying over my house. It started in 2018 when we started hooking up, and he started sleeping over my house.
Okay.
And what were your next question?
Was that in the current house you live in now?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you lived in that house?
On and off. Because at one point we moved close to where his parents live right now. They live in North Port Florida, Sarasota County. I lived in Port Charlotte, which is Charlotte County, the county right next door. We had an apartment there for like 6 to 8 months. We moved down there because, again, Stephan was promised a job and that fell through. So we supported ourselves in this tiny apartment for a little while until I ran out of funds.
Do you remember what year that was?
2020.
So when did you live in Port Charlotte, 2020?
I don't remember what month I moved in, but I remember moving out in November.
Of 2020?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was some. April, May.
That's what I do. So we go like, we get to later. 17. In 2017. So 2018.
6.
6.
At the same time, no. But okay. I've had ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends live in that same house before.
Got it. You moved to Port Charlotte sometime in 2020 for a few months.
Yeah.
And then you came back to the same house.
After Port Charlotte, I went back to my mom's house for a little while.
Where's that at?
In Hunters Creek, Florida.
Got it.
Even before Port Charlotte, actually, the few months before I was in Port Charlotte, I was living at my mom's house.
With Stephan.
Around March 20th, decided he wanted to renovate the house.
Rachel, I don't know about the PPP loans. I haven't been able to validate that. A lot of people have told me it's not accurate that she owned a dog grooming business. But I think it would have been 2020, but I'm not sure.
It wasn't her that got the loans.
Okay, yeah.
I saw on another channel, and I can't remember which one it was, but the person like really dug in. It was like several Jen Sotos in different states. It wasn't her that made like a.
Thank you for that.
Company about loans. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember what channel it was, but they showed it on the screen. Like it was a woman, and she was like Googling it as she was speaking and showing like this is this address. It was like, yeah. So it wasn't this Jen Soto.
Yeah, that's what I posted it on my community wall because somebody said that it was her, and then I posted it, and some people did do some research and said that they found out that it wasn't her. Some people think it was, so I'm kind of, from what I understand, it wasn't her. I would need to see some hard evidence to say that it was before I can go with that. Like, I've seen the paperwork, but again, you can't tell what Jen Soto it is, so I would believe that if somebody dug it, because think about, like, I bet if you put the name Jennifer Soto in your, like, just searching your state, there would be over probably 200, like, in each state. You know, I mean, it's just a common name.
Yeah, and it was like in multiple states too, so like it wasn't even her.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
House and possibly sell it. So he told us to get out. So March 2020, so around COVID time, like 2 weeks after COVID was announced, I moved in with my mom.
Okay.
And I lived with her for a little bit. And then the Port Charlotte apartment happened. We moved to Port Charlotte. We're there for a few months. Came back to live with my mom. Was there for a few months. And then I decided to move back. That he was moving out and like getting an RV and like living the RV life.
Yeah.
So he needed somebody to take care of the house for him. So I said, yeah, I would do it, of course. So I moved in. I moved into his bedroom, downstairs, the master bedroom. Eventually, Stephan did come up. A few years. It wasn't until like June of last year that I will go upstairs to the guest bedroom upstairs because I just he's not a very clean guy. He's kind of a little hoarder and a collector. So just my house was always a mess and never the way that I wanted it to look.
I don't know what the rolls of paper towel are about. I know she's got a roll of paper towels, but I don't know what that's all about.
I think because she's like crying. She's crying.
Oh.
It's funny though.
Yeah. Like I said, I love the way he does his videos. We got what, about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left of this video. So just want to let y'all know.
Or the clutter just gave me anxiety. So I asked him to move upstairs and he did. And he lived upstairs until until December of last year. And then he moved to Northport, Florida with his parents. But they had promised him a job, but that fell through. So we were in the process of
I'll get into the timeline in the next part, but for now, I just want to show you guys something.
All right. And did you get off at 10 p.m.?
Yes.
All right. Did you go directly home?
Yes.
About how long does it take you to get home?
About 25 to 30 minutes.
And when you get home, who is downstairs, if anybody? You have a 2-story, is it a townhome? Is that the best word for it?
Yes.
If anybody is downstairs, who is downstairs?
I saw my daughter Madeline and Stephan.
Do you recall what Madeline was wearing?
No.
And do you recall what Stephan was wearing?
I can't tell you, no.
Now, during this 30 minutes that the three of you are in your bedroom, is Madeline engaging in any of her kind of nighttime routine or, getting ready for bed? What else is going on, if anything?
We spent a long time talking about gifts and having her show me, and then we counted out her money.
Yep. Lies.
I can't remember if she had finished with all of her bedtime routine.
Okay. Does she brush her teeth at night?
In the shower.
In the shower? Okay.
Uh-huh.
She says that Stinky's messy. Look at her house. Look at her bedroom and bathroom. It's a fucking pigsty. There's crap everywhere.
Yeah.
Even he was like in the shower. I was like, yeah, I was the same
Yeah.
way too. Do you brush your teeth in the shower?
I used to brush my teeth in the shower when I was like younger.
Not
kinda,
me.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
My brother did it. I always thought it was weird. But my brother would do it.
Yeah.
I never did. I thought it was weird.
I'm just used to just doing over the sink as usual.
Yeah, my kids do it in the sink. Well, we all do.
Yeah.
That's the crime scene where Maddie was found, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Very befitting. With the drug part, little picture in the background.
Yep. Now I think it's Veronica who talks about he does an interview with I think you said Leo. So it might have been this one. Let's talk about Madeline Soto. He's got several other videos on here. So I've dropped the link. It's in the description box. So make sure you guys go check him out. He's really awesome. That's gonna be it for me today.
Alrighty.
Thanks for letting us go on.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming up. It's been fun talking to you guys. I really enjoyed it. I think the chat
Always
did
do.
too.
Always love it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's Bazard, and then Cozy Constellations also came up. Thank you, Cozy.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna go chill and relax and probably just Netflix.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Bazard. You're so awesome.
No.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate
No
it.
problem, Leslie. You take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Brenda said they were selling pics for money. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I think that they had been for a long time. Veronica said on Leo's channel with Grish in the interview, he explains all the videos. Thank you for that. Thank you guys for being here. You know, I'll say it again. I could talk to myself for hours about this case, but you guys coming in, sharing your thoughts and opinions, coming up on panels, however you do it, it makes it better. You guys are what makes this channel great. So I really appreciate you guys. And I hope y'all have a good night. Oh yeah, we'll feed Inspector BS before we go. I will definitely play your song, Rubber. I hope y'all have a good Sunday. And I'll definitely be back tomorrow. I don't know what we'll talk about. It depends on what I find tonight for us to talk about tomorrow. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Pray for the people. Pray for the people in the California fires, please. There's a lot of people suffering out there. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.